a mansion with no soul. Behind closed doors saw the mess they control. Elrond's legacy built on broken dreams, but Nora's here tearing apart at the seams. Raised in the code, found truth on the screen. Therapy sessions where the pain's unseen. Healing from the past with stories that sting. Oh no, Nora, let that freedom ring.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to the garage. Still under construction. There are no lights. There are no shelves. I apologize. The other part of my wallpaper hasn't arrived yet, but when it does, guys, it will be glorious once again. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in for yet again another episode here of Razed in Scientology. I'm, of course, your hostess with the mostest, Nora Ames. And today we're going to be doing something very special. I am very stoked for today because we get to talk to an amazing human who is out there on the daily in Scientology's face, letting people know the truth with Scientology's own words. And I, of course, am talking about Dan Waxele. Let's bring him on. Here's Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hello, Nora.
I'm going to give you all the applause because you're the best and we love you. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing well. It's exciting to be here. There's been a lot going on recently. I sincerely apologize for my shitty Wi-Fi right now, but we'll get over it.
It's all good. It's all you look fabulous even in non-HD. So it's all good.
Well,
it's all
thank
good.
you. Thank you. I appreciate the invite for even being on this. So this is awesome.
Oh, Dan, you're doing all the work, man. We need to give flowers where flowers are due here. Because you guys are out there. Let's just start here. Basics. How and why did you even decide to start protesting Scientology? Like, what was the light bulb moment for you? Because you were already your channel already existed, and you were just checking out LA and stuff. Yeah. What happened? What changed for you?
Well, obviously, William Good was the one who inspired myself and probably most of us that are in this more recent wave of a movement. But I've been following, First Amendment auditors for a very long time, from, Angry Gay Pope, Nasty Nathaniel, all those people from way back when who are still doing amazing work. But, and then, of course, with Scientology, Leah Remini's show definitely re-sparked and re-engaged me. And, the more you go down that rabbit hole, the more there's no coming back out. So,
it kind of is like a black hole.
That's exactly right. And, the fact of the matter is like, the fact that this was also happening in my backyard, I'm like, how can I not get involved? Especially befriending people like you, Liz Ferris, there's so many amazing people with these profound stories that it's impossible, just watching it, the early days of last year's Winter Wonderland. And when I wasn't involved, I was like, oh my God, I need to get out there. And finally I made the jump and did it during the Billboard, fiasco, because it's just so unreal. It's unreal. Everything.
Yeah. And let's talk about that for a minute. For people who don't know, because it only lasted like 24 hours, another Aftermath Foundation billboard was put up right outside of Big Blue on Fountain Avenue. It's a very small billboard, but it's still in full visible view of anybody walking on Fountain, or even the people in those buildings, specifically AOLA or the Bridge building or where the IES is and stuff. They would have had to stare at that all day because it's like the only thing to look at outside the building. And it was another one of Phil Jones's Call Me billboards, which if you think about it, like the least aggressive, the least mean campaign that's ever been made, of course made by a Canadian, but like that's ever been made, was like, hey, call your family. We miss you. We love you. Call your family. And they're like, not today, Satan. Like they were just like, they went through so much stuff. Somebody tore the billboard down in the dead of night. And then Clear Channel, who owns the physical billboard, was like, well, tough tits, and that's just too bad for you guys. Like, I guess you're not getting another billboard.
Even before that, it's just like, the extent that Scientology went through of just raising the cranes to obscure it a little bit more. Like,
right.
You can't make this up.
No, they rented, because they don't own those things. They don't own those cherry pickers. They rented cherry pickers to obscure this campaign of call your family. All your family members, we're putting pictures of you as a little kid there. Last time we saw you, like, we want to see, please call us. Like, this is literally a legit campaign, because as we know, back in 2008, Tommy Davis famously stared directly in the camera on CNN and said, there's no such thing as disconnection. We would all beg to differ out here who've been disconnected from, go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. It's just absolutely unbelievable. And then the denial. And then, of course, people start, like myself, going down the rabbit hole of realizing that all these lies are actually things that they do.
Right.
And it just becomes more and more unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's what's sad is that, like, I was just talking to a friend a moment ago about the characterization of, like, Scientologists and ex-Scientologists, right, is kind of maybe not correct, right? Because there's the way ex-Scientologists are is in so many different flavors, right? Like, for example, I was born into Scientology as my religion, but unlike Lara, I was not born into the Sea Organization, which is a whole other bag of chips, right? I joined the Sea Org later as a young 18-year-old who was like, yeah, let's do it. After having been recruited since I was 8 years old, I wasn't in a position like Lara and these other kids who were born in to the Sea Organization, where if I had reached 12 years old, they basically say, listen, you're going in the Sea Org or you're going on the streets. Right? Like, I didn't have, my mom was like, don't you dare. She was the one preventing me from joining the Sea Org. Like, she was like, you get an education. Those kids don't got no education. And see, so it's like Scientology parents knew the bad conditions, but it's like, well, those people chose that life for their kids. And, at least they're getting Scientology, like, what? Like, it's just weird stuff. And so there's been this, like, perception of, like, not talking about people who've left, right? People like me who escaped or whatever, because now we're all automatically white hats and we're all good guys and we're all just, and that's not really facts. You know what I mean? Because we all had different jobs, different experiences, different contacts, and different things that we actually did inside of that organization for however long we were there. Right. And so, I think this is important.
It boggles my mind in that respect that, like, if somebody leaves that position and all of a sudden it's vacated, why wouldn't they start questioning of, like, wow, where did Nora go all of a sudden without any goodbye? Like, it just boggles my mind. How
they told the students I was on a mission. Right. Like, when I got sentenced to the rehabilitation project force, they said, oh, Nora's on a special project. And, like, they would literally they would just lie to the students. Jason Mayfield, who was my boss, he used to be the security chief, and then he got busted into, he got demoted into the tech department because whatever. And so he was my direct boss. And it was ironic because his wife's name was also Nora. So people would be like, oh, you're married to your boss? And I'm like, no, definitely, please don't ever say that again. That's gross. But there was 3 Noras in all of the Sea Org, and we were all in Los Angeles, but the 2 other Noras were, like, in senior management. One was like French. She was Nora Lefebvre, and she was very French, very skinny and French, and then Nora Mayfield, who was like this red-haired, hell on wheels lady, like, don't fuck with her. And then there was me, and it was like, oh, the Noras, we all had our own Nora superpower,
but own persona. Yeah. It's definitely, it's a vibe being a Nora for sure. I would say all the other Noras I've ever encountered in my life are definitely similar. It's like you get this name, and then it's like redheads. They're all kind of, my daughter's a redhead. I get that. It's like they're all kind of like, yeah, you're spicy, and you could be a powerful witch. We don't know, but let's just leave it. Let's leave it. Love it when those expectations are true. But you are the first Nora that I actually know in my life.
There you go.
So
it's an old name, but it's making a comeback. It's making I'm proud of that. It's a very old name, and I think it's one that exists in, like, every language. which is kind of interesting. And it has a different meaning in every language. Like in the Persian languages, it means light. In like Gaelic and things like that, short for Honora, which means honor. So it's a good name. I like it. It's a righteous name.
It's much cooler than my name, which I think means schmuck. I don't know, but it's also
Daniel does not mean schmuck. Dan, your mom would not have named her son Schmuck. Let's get real. There's no Jewish mom out there that's naming her kid Schmuck. Schmuckle. Look how cute Schmuckle is. Look at him. He's a
coochie coochie coo.
Yeah, my wife is Jewish, so I've learned a lot about Jewish culture. We do all the holidays here. So we do Hanukkah and we do Christmas. And Hanukkah this year, of course, is the day it starts Christmas night. So
does it? That's interesting.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. So we're gonna have like a lot
talk about
of
overlap.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, it's so weird to me where it goes, right? Like at least Christmas is the same. It's always December 25th. Like one year Hanukkah was like during Thanksgiving. I was like, why is this? Right. Can we keep it at the same month at least? Something, Jews, let's get it together. Yeah.
Exactly. I know.
I don't understand, but it's because the Jewish calendar, right? Because it's like a different tallying of the days and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? Like the Jewish calendar is much older, obviously, than the Christian calendar, and the Chinese calendar is much older than that. So, it's interesting to me how we think time is irrelevant now. I think we've shifted.
Everybody's on their own time.
Thank you. But I honestly think that time has actually shifted. Like the seasons have shifted, but we've never adjusted it. We're just like, it's fall now. And we're like, no, fall happened a month ago. Like, right? Like, I think because it's too fixed, we don't think about it. And so time is crazy now. Like, think about the old days before we all had wristwatches, right? Everybody was just like, it's sundown. We're going to bed and we're getting up at sunup.
Check the sundial. Yeah.
Right. And then the sun is here. That's what time. And you know what I mean? Like, but now that we're a global world, we have to kind of like have this consistency so that if we call somebody, we know where they are, that just wasn't our problem back then.
It's all a construct. And as a gay man and a protester, I don't like constructs.
Right. It's very hard for us gays. It's difficult for us because, Scientology automatically doesn't like you, Dan, because you're a gay man. So that's strike one.
I'm a degraded being.
You're a degraded being and you're too pretty. So they don't like you at all. Like, gross. They're like, that guy's too pretty.
No, that was on the qualification.
Right? If you're too pretty, you can't be here. Right. So it's not like you're hiding your gayness. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, let's just pretend I'm super straight, guys. Don't be terrified of me. Like they know off the bat seeing you like, oh, that guy's gay AF. Hot dog. Like, they're avoiding you.
I can try my best, but I can't act, and it is what it is. And even if I put on my like macho persona, which is not an existent persona,
you're like, I'm gonna
get away. It's like, oh God, you're the fairy dust,
There would still be sparkles, guys. There would still be sparkles. I mean, and that's what I love though, seeing you as just like a gay Neverin who's out here protesting on behalf of, everybody who grew up in it, like me and Serge and things like that. And, I'm sure, like I try to explain to my kids, like somebody said something, one of my kids was talking about how one of their friends was like super homophobic, like, and the things they were saying, but they thought this person was gay. And I was like, that's part of the journey. Like, unfortunately, even in the year 2024, part of your gay journey, I haven't met one gay person who didn't spend, except for maybe my kids, because we were just like, do whatever you want. Like, but like that didn't spend years thinking like fucking gay piece of shit, like looking at other gays and being like, and hoping that's not you, kind of a thing.
Well, self-loathing for sure. And then just, of course, with all these constructs that are shoved down your throat, if you need to be married and you're going to have kids and, own a house and like all this stuff, it's like, especially living here in LA, like that is not my timeline. That is not on my radar. Never mind, I'm gay. So it's just not anything that I've ever looked for. And luckily I have very supportive parents and I came from a very supportive family in that respect. So I'm lucky. I didn't spend a long time in that dark hole or in quote unquote the closet. You know,
Right.
people just knew and accepted me, and were hoping at some point that I would myself embrace it. And I think I finally have. I mean, you know, I'm in my mid-30s now, so I goddamn hope I have. But
You don't really, and you're living with a man, Dan. Did you know that?
That's right. I forgot about him. he's just part of the furniture right now.
He's just here. This guy. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, and it's funny because like you're not allowed that journey like in Scientology, like at all, because you're just stuck on the homophobia. You're just like, as what they would say in Scientology, it's called a held down 7. Like if you have a calculator and the 7 is just like permanently pressed, you'll never be able to get a correct calculation out of that calculator, right? So they call it a held down 7, right?
Just stuck down. I love that.
Boom. And so people say like that describes somebody or a thinking where you cannot like change your view at all. That's a held down 7, right? That's how you get on gays in Scientology. There is no other view to have. You can't be like, well, I knew this gay guy once and he was super nice. Like, well, he's actually 1-1 and he probably tried to kill you in your sleep and you just didn't. Lucky you escaped. Like, you know, that kind of thing. And it's wild to think that, you know, any of us who are gay in Scientology eventually just decide to actually do that. I mean, I took a 12 years of being married to a man and having children because I wanted to prove how not degraded I was, you know? And then I was like, this is really dumb, you know? And after my second kid was born, I thought about it for 7 years. I spent 7 years just thinking I'm gay. Well, maybe I shouldn't be, but it was just like going around and round and round in loop to loops, secretly consuming gay content on YouTube, on, you know, the L Word, all these things, just like, and knowing how I felt about that. And like, I'm like, these are my people, and like fighting staunchly for gay rights everywhere. And people are like, why do you care, Nora? I'm like, because they're people, you know, like, just like, I couldn't, I couldn't say it.
It breaks my heart. Right. And you know, of course, you know, Scientology preys on a lot of vulnerable people who are trying to fix something in their life or whatever. And then they preach that, you know, be your authentic self and come in and find the truth about yourself and blah, 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 blah. And then to deny that authentic existence is it's disgusting. And for those people who are struggling with that, those are the people that it again is mind-boggling that they're so far in this trench that they can't even realize, wow, I can't be my authentic self. Maybe something's wrong here.
Boom. That's exactly what happens. And this is like, you know, when people say, well, what about Catherine Bell as an example, right? She is now an out married gay woman, still actively promoting Scientology. Her wife was also a second-gen Scientologist who was married. They're both married to men. They fell in love. They divorced their husbands, and now they're raising their kids together, right? And they are, you know, she's gay. I mean, there's no... but I can guarantee you what's happening inside Scientology for the two of them is that despite the fact that they are still promoting Scientology, that they are still like, Scientology is great, I love it, I can't live without it, every day that they are sitting down in session, that they're getting those confessionals, they are being slowly frog in the pot, trying to be convinced that what they're doing in the safety of their own home, loving on each other, is a crime, that their marriage is a crime, that their existence is a crime. Because every time you talk about, you know, I mean, sex is a big topic in Scientology, period, but gay sex is like it's gold. It's gold for them to corrupt your mind, make you do various things. I mean, when Catherine Bell first got outed, okay, she got outed because paparazzi photographed her in Mexico on a beach in her bikini making out with another woman. She was married to a man at the time, and Scientology pulled her in to the president's office and told her, you're no longer a celebrity. We are stripping you of your celebrity status. This woman was on the #1 rated show on CBS, JAG, at the time. She's the star of the show, but they're telling her, you're not a celebrity. We've taken that from you. She was in the orientation film. They went back and re-edited orientation, took everybody's copies, took her out of the film, and then reissued it to the whole planet. That is how much they hate gay people. Okay. Then they told her, you can't be in the celebrity course room with John Travolta and all these people. You have to go to the poor's course room, to the regular course room. And then they assigned her to me. Okay. And I was told I had to word clear her and do what's called false data stripping on being a lesbian. And we spent weeks doing, during false data stripping, you ask the person a question about whatever it is they have confused ideas about. And you trace that back and you trace that back. This is not done on the meter. This is all off the meter. Okay. And you trace it back to the original confusion, the original thing that happened. And then just before that, there'll be a misunderstood word that was the whole reason for them having these false ideas and doing these false things. So when we were doing that, the question I was asking her, the key question I was asking was, on being a lesbian, has anything been misunderstood? Now, mind you, at this time, I am so fucking closeted. Like, I cannot think about gay stuff. I'm being told gay stuff by one of the most incredibly beautiful humans I've ever sat across from. Like, she looks like a painting. This woman is looking at me with eyes. It's like this is the most lesbian thing that ever happened, right? Like, I'm asking this, and she wasn't that much older than me. I mean, maybe like 5 years older than me. So I'm like 20, and this beautiful princess who's half English, half Persian is like, just, I felt seduced. Like, she would come back from set because she was still working. So I'd have to work around her schedule. So she'd come back from set, and one day she got injured on set. And she was like, so they were like, oh, you need to give her an assist. Right. And so if any of you have ever heard about Scientology assists, this is basically a Scientological laying of hands. Right. So I am, in the nerve assist, you start laying on your tummy and you trace the person's whole spine, like all the way down. And then you use your fingers like this and trace like the nerves that go all the way down, and you touch their legs and you touch their arms, and then they flip over and you do the front. And I'm doing this to Catherine, and I like, yeah.
And you're just like, yes.
I could have had, it was, I had to keep my auditor's code, like, Nora, you're an auditor right now. You cannot, we're not, nope.
Well,
all those
I'm sure
impulses.
Confirmed a lot in you. Yeah, exactly.
That was my gay awakening. Honestly, that was my gay awakening. It was no going back after, and she would bring me presents. She was like, oh, what size shoes are you? I was like, oh, I'm a 9. She's like, me too. I have a contract with Nike. And she would just like bring me Nikes, bring me things, and now she won't talk to me. Like, I wrote her several times. And I tried really hard. I apologized to her for all of that, for my involvement in like her deprogramming. And I was like, listen, I'm here to like befriend you because I get it. I also finally came out of the closet, and I would really love for you to be free and not be stuck in Scientology with them hurting you continually. And then like, she blocked me everywhere. Like, I'm blocked on every social by her, and that's fine. Like, I don't, like, she has to do that because if she, if Scientology sees that she's talking to me, that in her mind, that puts her in danger, right? Because when you're inside, you believe like they have full control. That's why people who are not leaving the Sea Org, they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna have so much freeloader debt.
Right.
Like, oh, God. And the other thing that I was talking to my friend about today too is like, the reason why the call me billboards are so powerful, and it is because when you're in there and you've messed up enough inside there to get multiple punishments, however they are doled out, even if you don't end up on the rehabilitation project force, which they say doesn't exist, but totally still does. You come to believe that you are a criminal, that you are a bad person, that everything now that they say about the outside world and things like that is true because everything they've said about you is true. And also, like, you've probably disconnected from your family, or you haven't talked to them in forever. You haven't talked to those friends that you had before you joined the Sea Org, in a bajillion years. And so you think, why would any of these people want me? Why would anybody want me? Right?
What a lonely world.
It's horrific. And it's because, you know, people ask all the time, why don't these people just walk out? Like they see the protesters, you guys are talking to them, you're doing this conversation. It's because they truly believe the mindset of a Sea Org member when you're working day to day is, if I leave here, millions of people are going to die. And if I were to leave and go to somewhere, they wouldn't even want me anyway, because they tell you, like one of the old recruitment techniques that Gavin Potter, who's, you know, facing a suit right now, but that recruiters use is they say, okay, they tell you ridiculous statistics that aren't even math, but they say there's one Sea Org member for every million people on the planet, as if there's only 500 million people on the whole planet. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, because there's only like 5,000 Sea Org members planet-wise. But anyway, and they say, like, this is what was told to me when I was 12 years old. And I said, well, you know, I don't think I really want to join the Sea Org right now. Like, you know, I'm kind of in school and I'm really enjoying basketball. And they were like, oh, well, basketball is more important than a million people. And I was like, well, no,
Damn.
but like it's important to me. And they're like, okay, so if I lined up a million people right now, you're telling me that you would walk down that line and look every single one of those people in the eyes and say, fuck you, I don't care about you. I care about me more than I care about you.
Damn. So it's this guilt
Right.
complex that they build into and all of it, and then just pile on the burden of the self-loathing and everybody else's burden. That's
Yeah.
How do you survive that? That's insane.
Some people don't. I mean, we just lost another second gen last month, who was out, had kids, you know, and she was living here in the Pacific Northwest, and she unalived herself because you don't, without community, without life-saving therapy, I wouldn't be here. That's a fact. If I hadn't, and I've said that many times, like if, even though hindsight's 2020, if I'd gone out and I'd been gay and like other things, that may have been good, but also like having my first child saved my life because I had something that was so much more important than me again to live for. That this was real, it was tangible. It wasn't like this imaginary, we're clearing the planet, we're clearing this sector of the universe. I had this tiny human who I grew and could literally do nothing without me. And so, like, I had to exist. I had to be here.
Exactly.
All of the bad thoughts that I had on a daily basis, I had to throw those away because this tiny person could not survive without me. And so, you know, for me, that portion of my journey was important. You know, if I had been available, you know, had gone straight to therapy and not waited 14 years to start therapy, you know, after leaving, that would have been helpful too.
No doubt.
That would have been great. That's not what happened. You know, and
But
this
at least
is the
you
thing.
got there.
Oh, I did. But it took me 14 years, you know? So it's like, you are so terrified of these things. Like it's real. These things are real. The Museum of Death that's there, okay, that's, you know, the psychiatric museum that's there on Sunset Boulevard. That's what Scientologists believe wholeheartedly. There is no doubt in their mind that any psychiatrist, psychologist is evil, that they only have one goal in mind, and that is to ruin and harm and enslave mankind via drugs, via lobotomies, which I don't even know when the last time somebody did a lobotomy was. Right? Lobotomies. You know, if you see one, they will, no matter why you're there, you know, chemically lobotomize you or something like. So the first time I'm going to see a psychiatrist, okay, for my very first intake, the guy looked like Santa Claus. I'm not even joking, like a skinny Santa. He was like this old guy, white beard thing, you know, and I'm having like a full-blown panic attack the whole time. And
No
I'm just
doubt. I can see it.
And I'm just talking about my Scientological history as if I'm, you know, coloring in a coloring book. Like it means nothing. You know what I mean? Like, yes, and then this happened, and then I tried to unalive myself and blah, 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 blah. And like, you know, and I'm just like fidgety and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, when is the lobotomy happening? When, you know, like I'm bracing myself, like I'm ready. And the guy was so kind. He was like, okay, first of all, I want to apologize to you for sitting between you and the door. And I was like, what the, how the
Wow.
fuck did you know I was even thinking that? And he's like, listen, I want you to know this door's open. You can leave anytime you want. You're not stuck here. Okay. Secondly, you have PTSD. You have complex PTSD. And, you know, this is going to take time to talk about it and unpack all these things. You're not expected to unpack it in like one go, but thank you for telling me all that. You know, and also I don't think I'm the right therapist for you. I think you should be with a woman so you can talk about, you know, all these different things. So I'm going to, you know, hook you up with this woman. And I was like, okay. And that lady was fantastic. She was like my bestie. We'd go into therapy and talk about this stuff. It took me 6 months of therapy to finally be like, you know what? Wow. I think we should talk about my sexual identity. And she was like, okay, you know, like we're just waiting for you to talk about it. And then once I started talking about it, she was like, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And she's like, Nora, what's your choice right now? And I was like, I'm gay. And she was like, yeah. So what should you do? And I was like, I guess I should get divorced then. She was like, okay. Like, you know, like she can't tell you, girl, get divorced. Like that's not, you know, that's your bestie.
Sure.
Who
you
tells
have to
you that.
come
like,
to that yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You know, and that was, you know, huge, but it's like people inside there, even if they're not gay, right? Like, even if they just were like, my purpose in life was to be a firefighter because like you know, like this is a kid who had fire trucks in his room. He dressed up as a firefighter every fucking year. And now he's stuck in the Sea Org because they convinced him that he can save more people being here in the Sea Org, you know, on L. Ron Hubbard way, doing nothing for nobody versus being a firefighter, which is like a legit purpose in life to go do that and like have the bravery to run into a fucking burning building to save people. That's enormous. Not everybody has that.
And to be discouraged from that is just, it's crazy. But I mean, it just speaks to the wake of destruction that Scientology and high control groups leave. And it takes many years to get to those realizations. And, you know, as you did on your own time. And of course, if you had those earlier years of therapy, who knows, you know, you might have saved a little bit of time, but ultimately you're here today because of that journey and doing the work.
And then, like, you know, when you're out there protesting, like, I know that people, like, I hear people sometimes, like, they're trying to talk to somebody and they're just, like, ignoring them. Like, they're just, like, as if you don't exist, right? In Scientology, that's called not-ising. You just, like, literally, like, there's a wall here that's not there, right? And Scientologists do that with the whole world. They not is the whole world to make their Truman Show be true, right? Because I cannot tell you the number of things that David Miscavige has said out of his mouth hole that are patently false, okay? That then not only are patently false, but then get like reversed years later and people have to like make up a whole story about why that happened. Like in the, I want to say 98 or 99, at one event, they announced that there was peace in the Middle East because the way to happiness had been passed out in Israel, in Tel Aviv. So because they passed out enough way to happinesses in one city, in one country, peace in the Middle East. And Scientologists were like, we did it. We did it, guys. We did it.
That is dangerous misinformation. Yeah. That is just...
Right? Like
and it scales beyond that.
Exactly. Like they had no clue that there, like all this stuff was still going on. And now we see, obviously there's a whole other huge situation occurring there, but like, that's just one example. Like they will take credit for anything. Like when the Berlin Wall came down. Okay. Now the rest of us out here in the real world know that that was years of negotiations between Jimmy Carter and Gorbachev. And then Ronnie Reagan took credit for that. You know, delayed it until he got to be there. Mr. Gorbachev, take down that wall. Take down that wall. And then the wall came down. But then Scientologists will say, well, the real reason the wall came down is because OT8 was released. And when OT8 was released, so much theta was released into the universe that it just crumbled. It just crumbled, socialism.
You know,
and they believe that.
It's so far-fetched and it's just so ridiculous that it's like a story like that. It's like the Xenu story. It's all these things stitched together that it's like, how? You know,
Yeah.
are you? This is teaching you to find what's true for you and to seek the truths, but you're not asking questions.
No, you can't ask questions. You can't ask questions because here's the deal. The Xenu thing, and why I get kind of like miffed about the whole Xenu thing, I'll be honest with you, is most Scientologists don't know about Xenu, because most Scientologists, I would say about 85,
Don't even
almost,
reach.
no, they've never reached OT3. So when you're telling them about Xenu, right? Every time a protester holds up a sign about Xenu, what they do is they send out the old-timey guys who have reached OT3, because Scientologists believe 1,000,000% that if you know about the Xenu story before you're like, enlightened enough, you will get pneumonia and die. So when they send those people out to get in the face of the people with Xenu, they're trying to actually protect the other people, because then they'll come in, like, let's say, I remember back in the 90s when we started having protesters after Lisa McPherson, people were holding up Xenu signs, and they would hold them above the fence and stuff. And where my windows were, I could see all the stuff they were doing. So I asked somebody once, what's a Xenu? What's that? Why are they saying that? And then it's like, right? And they were like, oh, that's nothing. Don't worry about it. You didn't see anything. And these are people who were OT who would just lie to your face that it's nothing, right? That's not a real thing. You know, it's not an actual thing. And I experienced when the Time magazine article came out, as an example, which if you haven't read that, guys out there, please do yourself a favor. It's online. That is the most comprehensive, the best written article about the truth about Scientology was ever written, ever.
I'll check that out.
Yeah,
Wow.
no. It came out when I was a freshman in high school. I was living in Eureka, and this kid who lived next door to me fucking hated my guts. And he was like, oh, hey, Nora, your religion made the cover of Time. And I was like, what? And so I ran to the library, got a little pass, and I see the cover, the fucking octopus and the volcano. And I was like, what? And I stole it. It's like one of the few things I've ever stolen in my life. I stole that shit from the library. I went home, I read it. I read the whole thing. Then I went into a panic because now I'm going to die. And so my mom wasn't OT3 at the time. She didn't read it. She saw the cover. She was like, where did you get that? Let's burn it. Like literally wasn't going to read it. So then she's like, well, call your godfather. He's OT. He was on OT7 at the time. So I called him up and I told him, I said, hey, this is what I read. Here's what's in the article. He says, that's all a lie. He just started laughing. You think that's what Scientology is about? That's crazy. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I said, okay, I'm going to call my dad
Thinking
too.
that he's protecting you.
Right. Thinking that he's protecting me. So then I call my father, who's OT5, and he's like, well, did it make you remember anything? Did it sound familiar to you? So now I'm like hella confused. My godfather, who I trust, is telling me it's all bullshit. My dad's like, did it make you recall anything from before? Did you remember that story? Like, so now I know it's true. And now I have this pressure of being this last lifetime Scientologist, right? That I'm now supposed to recall this OT shit because my dad's telling me that that's real without telling me because, he can't tell me, right? Kind of a thing. So it's like when you grow up in an environment like that where it's like, there's all this crazy stuff. But that's why I say like the Xenu stuff, it's funny. It's like, it's comical. I think that honestly, South Park did it the best, with their little guy and everything.
But by and large, people don't know about it.
No, they don't. They have no idea. None. So like the stories about like OT8 taking down the Berlin Wall, right? Or finding out the truth about L. Ron Hubbard as an example, like, especially for people who come from military families, right? Which is a lot of us, to find out that his medals and all this other stuff is total nonsense. It's stolen valor. That is a big deal for people because those things take the power away from L. Ron. Like the first thing that hit me the hardest when I left the Sea Org, because I was still very much like Scientology is good, but the Sea Org sucks and has been ruined and like whatever. But the first thing that hit me was realizing that the IAS was just a fucking money grab. Because we're told that the IAS is doing all these projects, they're doing all these things, they're helping all these people. And then I realized like when I got out and I'm looking at the news and I'm looking at the things where they had claimed to have done these things, nothing actually happened. And then I started going like, where is all this money going? Like people are giving millions at a time. to get these trophies and stuff. And that was back in 2002 before it got like super out of control. Right. And then I started thinking about my freeloader debt. Like, why do I owe all this money after working for 8 years and not getting paid? And I started doing like math. Math kind of got me out of out of the Scientology thing, So it's like facts and figures and reality is the thing that breaks the spell for people, because
interesting,
because people who are going in those organizations daily of their own free will, right? Like they're going to do course, they're going to get those sessions. They also live in the real world. They have to pay a rent. They have to buy groceries. They have to, CERG members are in a very special, unique bubble, right? But the people who are walking into those orgs that you see with their little suitcases and the things and stuff, those people also exist in the real world. They pay taxes. They, have all these other things that they have to do to keep surviving, right? And so when you talk about them, about their money, right, and get them to start maybe saying like, hey, why don't you go to the IES office right over there and ask them where your money went? Like you donated, what did you last donate for? Because the thing that broke my mom is they were telling her that they needed chairs. The IAS wanted 20 grand for chairs for some place. I forget where it was at the time, like Chicago, or it was, somewhere in the US, some like really small org that was supposed to go, ideal or whatever, right? St. Hills used to be the old thing. So I said, okay, they want these chairs and it's going to cost 20 grand. Well, if you have 20 grand to spare, why don't you just ask them this, Mom? Just say, okay, what kind of chairs are you guys buying? And I'll just cut a check.
Buy the chairs
to the chair company. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if that's what we need, I'll just.
Oh, no.
Exactly. Then she was like, well, why can't I just buy the chairs? Like, if that's what you're telling me my 20 grand's going for, I'll just give the check to the chair manufacturing company, and that got her thinking, because they tell people all kinds of tales. Now it's just to fight, the SPs, which is like you on the street, me here on YouTube. Right. So they need copious amounts of money because, guys, Dan is so dangerous, so deadly, lethal out there with his television, sitting there calmly talking to people, standing on a freeway overpass calmly with a banner. Just dangerous, the most dangerous. Look at him, deadly.
I am suppressive AF.
But like that's what they think, right? And you're sitting out there with a smile doing this.
Oh, well, I mean, you got to have fun when you're doing it, Otherwise, it's just traumatizing and very sad and upsetting. But, I think when you're out there at the banner, on the overpass with the banner, and so many people are like connecting with you down below and waving and cheering you on, like that is so intoxicating and invigorating, and it's pleasing to know that people know what this is about, and at least plants the seed of go do research, and figure out these stories for yourself, which is why, even though your friend blocked you from every platform when you left, I think it's important that, she had to put that effort in to do that. So she obviously read your messages. So hope that you planted a seed, so it starts small, or it can, and it can blossom.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful one day that, it's not even about it's not even about me having that friendship back with her. It's really about her and her wife being able to truly
live authentically,
free. Yeah. And it's like, you can't, she's not going to the Pride Parade. They're not putting a Scientology float in the Pride Parade. Can you imagine?
I would lose my shit.
Right? Can you now? I want to talk about two things, because listen. I can talk to you all day, but first of all, that woman that you encountered on the overpass, who was like, "Hey, I live in the neighborhood. I live around the corner from Celebrity Center." That was so fascinating, because it's like people in the neighborhood just sort of like put up with Scientology. They're just like, it's there.
Yeah. Every single time I go to that overpass, it's the same thing. And even before I went live that day, another woman had passed right before I went live, saying the same thing. This is my neighborhood. I can't stand it. Never mind the planter issues, which are also at the Celebrity Center.
Right.
It just, they think that they own the neighborhood. and you just feel it. You know, whether you have interactions with them or not, which, you know, most Scientologists just kind of march on through without saying hi. It just creates this toxicity, and the neighbors very much feel it.
Yeah. I mean, well, they have bought up pretty much every building surrounding them. So they do own like this little block that is now theirs, that is now completely owned by Celebrity Center itself, so that they have their own little like enclave. Now, the one thing they don't have that like Big Blue has is they don't have tunnels underground to like be like, okay, we're going to go from here to that building. They have to physically walk across the street to where they sleep, and then walk across the street to go back. And the real reason why they did that, like the one building that they live in right across the street, the Copa or whatever, I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. But I did renovations there when I was on the RPF. So I didn't live in that building when I worked at Celebrity Center. I lived at the Wilcox, which is now, of course, Mama's something shelter.
Mama's shelter.
Yeah. And it's a huge hotel now that's very expensive, by the way, to sleep in. And then they have a restaurant on top and a whole like store at the bottom.
Expensive.
Yeah. The restaurant's fucking hella expensive. I used to hang out on that roof, and like that's where you would go to like make out with your boyfriend or girlfriend, is you just go to the roof. Right. And now it's this fancy pants, like, you know, fucking restaurant and shit. Yeah, that place was cockroach infested, like falling apart from every earthquake. Like we could just see the plaster like breaking and stuff everywhere. I mean, it was not. I don't know what kind of renovations they've done.
That seems to be a trend in their buildings recently, because if you've seen Blue. Yeah, there's like a giant crack running up one of the chimneys. I guess it's a chimney, and like there's like patches missing, and there's like girders holding it on. Like these buildings are holding on for dear life, and it's so funny that like they have this illusion of we buy these amazingly beautiful historical buildings and we preserve them and all this, but they're falling apart.
Oh yeah, even the Manor, even Celebrity Center is constantly in a state of disrepair, constantly. And you can only, because it's a historical building, because it was restored as a 17th century chateau, the things you can do in there are very limited. Like I cannot tell you the amount of flat paint that is in that building. So if somebody like stands on a wall or like is talking and puts their, you know, hand on a wall, you have to then go with the flat paint and like touch that up. So like every Friday we would do this thing where you have to go and make sure all the paint is good. You're touching everything up. And because it was Celebrity Center and you have to have things that look 17th century chateau-ish, like the little kits that people do, like, you know, the mock, like what they call demonstrations of like the principles, they're all brass. Okay, so you have to take brasso and polish that shit like on a daily basis. Brass, you guys, you touch it once, that's it. There's the fingerprint. There's no keeping brass.
That's it. No, that's it.
You know, just crazy, crazy stuff. And it's like, you know, these buildings are not retrofitted because they didn't pay for that. They just slapped coats of paint on everything. Like even the exterior of Big Blue, okay? The exterior of Big Blue used to be in worse state than it is now. And then while I was on the RPF and just before, we were doing there was like scaffolding all over Big Blue during the 2000s. And we were stuccoing, and by we, I mean the you know, indentured servitude slave labor force known as the Rehabilitation Project Force was up and scaffolding, stuccoing all of that, and then painting it ourselves, right? Yeah, that was a huge project that we did. The test center also, we did all of the stucco outside there. I did that personally on the side, not on the very front. I was on the side. Yeah, that's my stucco job on the side there.
Well done.
Thank you.
It's staying put over there at least.
That's right. Put a lesbian on it. We'll get it done.
Take away. Exactly.
I mean, we were literally like, I mean, and talk about no OSHA stuff and everything else. I mean, the safety is just atrocious. We removed asbestos with no, you know, cover. Just wear a long shirt. You'll be fine. You know, the amount of renovations that is done in-house is like, I don't know, 95%, you know, because they don't,
with unless safety being the last priority.
No, and even like, look what happened when DOA saw the guys doing the illegal stuff in the easement there, and they didn't even have a permit. And so he just went up to them and was like, where's your permit? The guy lost his shit, started screaming at him. And then when the police came, he's like, hey, bro, these guys don't got no permit. They can't just be out here doing stuff with no permit. And the police were like, yeah, that guy's right. Like, you don't have no permit. You got to go. Like, like they're so lazy they won't go to the government office and get a permit for their work. And like, the government offices are getting pissed now because of the work that like Audit LA is doing every single day, going down there. She's a fucking champion. She's a champion, man, because it's really like, like they are getting away with so much. And it may seem like, okay, why are we bitching about planters? Like, who gives a shit? They're putting planters on the sidewalk, whatever. But like, Audit's correct. That's an ADA violation. That's like right. most of their buildings are not ADA accessible. Right. And it's a straight up violation for them to block access just to humans. That is a public street. They do not own the street. It is not a private street. They got it renamed through which is crazy. It's a bullshit campaign. If you go look, and all the people who say they're residents, not all those people actually lived there. They listed like the CLO as their address. Okay. And I could pick out hundreds of people who I knew, some of whom worked at Celebrity Center, but because they lived with their spouse at PAC, or their spouse worked there, they would say they lived there, even if they weren't. I mean, and who's checking? No one's checking. No one checked IDs, and a lot of those people didn't even have driver's licenses, right? So that's right. So they did this through a complete bullshit campaign where the actual residents of the street were like, no. The people who live in the apartment buildings by Kaiser, and the only thing that didn't happen is like nobody asked Kaiser. And, so they just did it. Nobody even asked Kaiser.
What a cordial neighbor.
No. And so now, because they renamed it, and then not only did they rename it somehow, and I don't even know if they had a permit or whatever, because I laid some of those bricks, but then they bricked the street, to make it more aesthetic and all this stuff. And they put in the crepe myrtle trees that all like started dying, and then they had to replace them. It was a whole thing. They put in brand new crepe myrtle trees, and then they all simultaneously died because that person went to the RPF. They don't have because they planted them.
They do not have a green thumb.
No, it was awful. It was really bad. It was really bad. But it's like, they do these things and then they decide it's ours. Like there used to be, if you go back and look at pictures from the 90s, look at Mark Bunker's footage from the 90s. There were cars parked on both sides of Berendo, which is now L. Ron Hubbard Way, because there were parking meters. The city of LA, how much revenue are they losing on a daily basis from not having their parking meters there? To like charge people money. There was only like 2 or 3 spots that weren't with meters on that street. And then those were coveted. Like if you got that shit, you're just going to stay there a week. Like that's my car now.
Which is also mind-boggling that I haven't really found any proof of like where are those restrictions actually listed, like in an LA ordinance, that there's no parking there. So like, of course
it's not,
the corruption runs deep. And so I'm sure somebody got paid off for that. Obviously,
it doesn't make any sense to me when I see you guys out there and then, Scotty's parked on the street or something, and then they come and they're like, sir, you got to move your car. It's like, it's not a red zone. Why has he got to move? What am I violating?
I don't see a red curb.
Exactly. It's a street. It doesn't say private, no parking. There's not one no parking sign that's put up by the city on that street. And as a born-in Angelino, those signs are confusing already, okay? But like they're everywhere. They will tell you, you can park here for 10 minutes on Tuesday if it's not cloudy and your name starts with a C, and that's it. Like
it's true. It's like solving a riddle every single time. It
right?
Really is.
You're like, is it parking? Is it no parking? Is it loading? I don't know. I'm just leaving my car. Whatever.
Well, then throw in a surrounding cult and the fake red curbs that people have pointed out that are actually parking, but they paint it over because they just feel like they can and own everything.
Right?
It makes no sense, and that's the infuriating part.
Mm-hmm. Because see, here's the deal: from a Sea Org member point of view, right? From somebody who's in there working for them, I will tell you that point of view is you people, protesters. People on the outside are enemies, number one, but you are bad people. You are criminal. So we are going to keep the criminals out. We're going to protect our people. This is why, like, watching you out there you know, in front of the test center and other places with your television that's just playing L. Ron. It's not playing anything else. You're not playing like Leah's show. You're not playing, you know, Going Clear or something like that. You're just playing L. Ron. And then people are walking by going like, what the fuck is that crazy ass guy saying? Right? And then you're telling them, oh, this is L. Ron Hubbard. This is the guy who these people worship, you know, and that's one thing that would get Scientologists talking, saying that they worship L. Ron Hubbard. Because I'll tell you what, I would take it to the parking lot if somebody told me I worshipped L. Ron Hubbard, and I'd be like, I absolutely don't. I thought, what fuck? You know, like he's just a man. You know, and then you have to go through all these circles in your own mind, right?
That's right.
Because like saying just something like that, like why do you worship L. Ron Hubbard, is a great question, because they're gonna fight back against that and be like, okay, but. You know, and then like try to engage in the like, you know, the curiousness, right? Like, okay, your whole campaign is, are you curious? Like, I'm curious. Tell me about Scientology. Like, that's why I love Windy City's question is like, can you tell me something good about Scientology? Can you tell me just one good thing about Scientology? And nobody ever answers the question.
Nobody ever does. I mean, I love that. If your religion's so great, how come you can't tell me one good thing about it? What are some of your wins? What are some of your gains?
Right?
I'm curious. I'm interested in zero, nothing.
Like, how long have you been in? Like, why did you join? How did you get started?
Right.
I'm actually wanting, but see, they think, and they've been told, I'm sure in many briefings, I'm sure that there are briefings now that they have dead agent packs about you, about Scotty, about all the protesters.
My file's just...
Right, it's getting bigger and bigger. Watch out for Danny's gay. It's gay. Don't catch it. Don't touch him. Don't touch him.
I hope my file has like rainbow tabs or something.
Some closeted twink in there is like, Dan is just so bad. Look at him. Ew.
I'm a bad boy.
Yeah. Some closeted twink is like, I'll volunteer to go talk to Dan right now. I'll put him in his place. That's what's happening. You know, like and they know who the gays are and stuff. They're like, oh, you want to go talk to Dan? Oh, yeah. We know why.
Well, it's so funny. And just talking about safety is yesterday when I was walking around Blue, like they had the cherry picker just in the middle of the streets open, because of course now it's like non-permitted, whatever, streets open. Which I don't know why they didn't do all the work when they had it closed, quote unquote. But anyway, cherry picker in the middle of the street, cars zooming on through. You would think they would put cones or something around the cherry picker. Nothing. And this guy's like hanging on for dear life, putting the lights up. And I literally approached one of the security guards. I'm like, bestie, like like violation. I would move the cones, but I can't. Like, and he actually went and moved the cones.
I know. I saw that part. I saw that part of your life. And it's like, yeah, I mean, like, because that guy who's the security guard, that's paid. That guy's from some fucking company, whatever company, right? And it would be great to find out what company they work for. They should have some sort of card like, hey, I work for, you know, blah, blah company or whatever. Call the company up and be like, is this amount of money that you're getting from Scientology worth it to you to be like literally patrolling around a cult that is harming children, harming the elderly, you know, and that's what you guys are getting paid for. Like your guys are all on tape. The internet has seen them. The internet has seen your company, you know, protecting this diabolical place. Like, is that the look that you want? I mean, I'm sure they're paying you a lot of money, but like, get a different client, you know?
Well, precisely. Even the event rental, they just took down the big white tent that they had set up for whatever, I guess it was an IAS event, a big money-making event. And they finally just took it down and, you know, just trying to get all the names of the event rental companies. It's like, do you realize where this money is coming from? You know, and trying to inform them. So I encourage people to watch back the lives, check out those logos, go and inform those companies. And, you know, of course, you know, now that Winter Wonderland's being set up, and
that's what I was getting to.
All the permits, and
let's put that here, guys, because this is where everything started. Was Winter Wonderland last year, 2023. It was the 40th anniversary of Winter Wonderland. But yeah, we had that's where all the protests started, guys. That's when Streets and Jessica and Chris and LA Cam, you know, first came out to do this stuff, and then, you know, later Scott came. So they haven't updated their Facebook yet. Here's their Facebook, guys. Of course, it's highlighting last year, which was their 40th anniversary, guys. For 40 years, for 40 years, almost my entire life, Okay. I'm older than this, but like almost my entire life. Scientology has been taking over all of Hollywood for their Fakakta parade. The Hollywood Christmas parade is Scientology's creation. They just get other vendors and things to participate.
I was wondering because I did like email them saying, hey, I would love to participate. And obviously no reply back. So
yeah. You're on your iPhone, so you're gonna get all your Apple. You're gonna get all your Apple reactions. But if you go here to their About section, right, and details, right? So it says the tradition began in 1983 when Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard provided a 60-foot Christmas tree as a gift to the children of Hollywood. The tradition has continued ever since, and the Winter Wonderland Holiday Village is constructed each year as a service to the community. Winter Wonderland opens on the Sunday after Thanksgiving and signals the start of the holidays in Hollywood, made possible by the Friends of L. Ron Hubbard Foundation, another Scientology front group. The set attracts upward of 40,000 Los Angeles residents and tourists each year. So, because everything, of course, is statusized. They have to have a stat of how many people go in there. I'm sure last year it was down. I'm positive because y'all were telling people as soon as secta, you know, but like,
not 40,000.
Right. And it's like, and this is Dan's channel. I mean, I should have brought that. Why bury the lead here? This is Dan's channel at Dan Walks LA. If you guys aren't subscribed, please go subscribe. But yesterday, the big news was right here. Dan was there showing everybody.
Yo, you're not going to believe this.
Look at see, so they're already started construction, guys.
Scientology.
See, they're masking it off so you can't see. We can't see the village.
Wow.
It's top secret,
They're
guys.
really going for it.
Wow.
Top secret Santa Claus, guys. Did you know Santa Claus is a secret? Please, top secret. Top secret.
I don't even understand what the point of the drapes were because this afternoon, I think DOA was over there or somebody was over there earlier and they were down and they were just, it was, you know, they were still working and constructing, but like, why last night? And
you know why? Because, well, first of all, it's RPFers and children doing the construction. So they want to block the protesters from videoing those people or from like you guys, specifically you guys videoing people and then people like me or somebody else in the chat being like, oh my God, it's Bob. And then we tell you and then you're like, Bob,
Hey,
Nora
Bob.
says hi, you know, like, and they don't want people to get recognized because like the Call Me billboard, okay. And I just want to show one thing real quick before we get into that. So this is the L. Ron Hubbard has his own Twitter account, guys. And this is what they put up last year. They put up all these photos of people who came in, right? I don't know if they have people sign a waiver like, hey, we're going to take your picture and put it on the internet, but they kind of should because
I mean, I wonder if they'll have a sign or a placard, you know?
Yeah, it is private property. You're going into a thing, and I don't know that these parents consented for their children to be placed on L. Ron Hubbard's page, but that's a whole other thing. I digress. So they say here on the L. Ron Hubbard page, the tradition of L. Ron Hubbard's Winter Wonderland, in the hashtags here, began in 1983, blah, 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 blah. Okay, same spiel. But if you go to L. Ron's page today, look at that. We just got a glorious, just look at that picture of St. Hill there in England. Just so beautiful, just majestic L. Ron here. Okay, so all they're talking about right now, 4 hours ago, they posted this lie. In Asia, L. Ron Hubbard, then still in his teens, spent the better part of 2 years in travel. First of all, Asia is still racist, guys. Let's say where he went. He went to China. We don't, you know, like... spent the better part of 2 years in travel and study. He became one of the few Americans of the age, like because it was like the 30s, to gain entrance into the fabled Tibetan lamaseries scattered throughout the western hills of China. That is not true. They always try to put this mysterious air around him that like he met with these lamas, he met with high magicians, you know. Asian adventure, guys, is apparently a hashtag they want to use on this. I don't know about that, Scientology. I don't know about
We outside,
that.
hashtag Asian Adventure. There we go.
Right? Hashtag Asian Adventure. In San Diego, 1928, L. Ron Hubbard, Asia bound, with 2 handkerchiefs, 2 suits, 1 pair of shoes, 1 toothbrush, 2 pair of socks, and 2 pennies. Like,
must have smelled
look
really
how
good.
happy he looks to be going on this Asia adventure, guys. You know why he went there? His dad was in the Navy, and his mom was so sick of him just like hanging around. She was like, get on the boat with your dad and be gone for months. Goodbye. Right? It wasn't because he was this adventurer and his dad was like, yeah, let's go see things. It was like, your mom doesn't want you in the house. You're failing school. You're a wreck. Let's go. Put you to work on the boat. You know, like it wasn't like, you know, he wasn't some super. Now, I love the clothes of the 20s. Look at these shoes. Look at the hair. I do. I love everything about and what you guys have to know in these two pictures, see how he's wearing short pants? Children, before they became like boys, before they became men, had to wear short pants. They were not allowed long pants. And then that was a symbol of adulthood, long pants, right? And for women, it was like a certain kind of like hairdo or like dress that they could start wearing, like one that like, you know, was like revealing on the chest area as opposed to like ones that were all like buttoned up and stuff. That was the time period, right? So as a young man, he had to wear these like little bloomers, these short pants because he was a boy, right? Here he is in Tacoma, right? Itinerant. What the fuck does that word mean? In itinerant. I'm going to look that up. I see. And this is the thing with Scientology. This is classic Scientology. We're going to use a word that nobody uses, that we don't know what it means. Okay. A person who alternates. Right. A person who alternates between working and wandering. A person who travels from place to place, especially for duty or business. He was 12. He's not a nomad. He's not a, you know, but like they have to. When was the last time anyone used this word? Anyone.
They have to glorify everything, and of
Right?
course they choose the most ambiguous words to.
Knickerbockers. That's what they were called, Melody. Knickerbockers.
Knickerbockers, yes.
Knickerbockers, yeah. But like no one has, but this is so classic L. Ron, right? And this is part of the trap of Scientology. He uses these words that then, because he's used this ancient, antiquated, you know, out of date word, you think, oh, wow, he really knows what he's talking about because like, I didn't know that. I didn't. So look how much he knows. He clearly knows everything. Like this is part of the trick. And this is why people always say like, wow, you know, like, I mean, I went to high school, I graduated high school, but most, wrong one here. What am I doing? I cut you out here, Dan. I didn't mean to do that. Most Scientologists who grew up in it, like Laura and other people, have an extremely large vocabulary, right? And like they're very well spoken. That's why. Because you spend your early years trying to understand this man who speaks gobbledygook.
Right.
Right. And then you learn these big, big words, and then you sound, to use a big word, erudite, right? But you're not. You have no education. You have nothing to back that up with. You don't have any degrees, but you sound as if you're like a Princeton scholar. And people are like, wait, you only went to school till like 6th grade? What? You know, so it's like a conundrum, right? Because the real world regards you as ignorant and, you know, uneducated. But in Scientology, you're, you know, supreme. You're in charge. You're the,
Oh yeah,
you know,
it's
the
a
best.
confidence boost. It's a stroke of the ego, and it's for you to flaunt. And you know, LRH did the same thing, and
Yeah.
everybody he surrounded himself with. I mean, sound familiar in today's day and age?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean, it does. I mean, it's the same. Let's be honest. It's the same shit, different, you know, air freshener, as Serge would say. And, you know, it's just, it's the same bullshit. It's the same bullshit. So Thanksgiving this year, guys, is late. It's on the 28th. Okay. So that means that the first Sunday after Thanksgiving is going to be December 1st. And that is when Winter Wonderland will open for business on December 1st. Okay. So I'm just proposing this now on the fly. We don't have anything organized. Nobody knows anything. We haven't all had like a meeting, but I think I would love, for Streets, Jessica, you know, let's get the band back together. Let's get all the protesters at fucking Winter Wonderland. And Celebrity Center also does a thing, by the way, that people ignore because it's not Winter Wonderland, but they have their own, if they've stopped doing it, I don't know, but they used to import like a boatload of snow from Rim of the World. Where is that? Big Bear. they would import snow from Big Bear and like set up like a whole like kids would come out and then they would do like a thing in the garden pavilion. It's way less known because they can't be in competition with Winter Wonderland. They can't, you know. But they would have snow and stuff out there and you know do that. I mean, we did that in the 90s. I don't know if they're still doing it or not. But yeah,
well, I've been sort of incorporating doing rounds between the buildings into my days, so I'll make sure I keep an eye on that because I have not heard of that.
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, here's the deal. I know Celebrity Center kind of like most people go to La Poo to like protest there. You know, I get that like because you know it's easy to interact with people. There's a lot of people there, and there's not a lot of people at Celebrity Center. But you can interact with the people that are going in and out of the parking lot. Those are the public people. There is nowhere else for them to park. It's just that one little parking lot. And then they have to park somewhere in the neighborhood, which is like really shitty because sometimes they have to walk like blocks to get to CC because
I know a great overpass with some parking.
There you go. Well, and that's why people were wondering why like in 2023 they bought that other church that was nearby. Right, the dilapidated old like Korean Methodist church, right? They bought that. And so far, we haven't seen any announcements about them doing anything with that. Now, my guess is that, number one, it's parking because it has a large parking lot. They need that for their things. But my second guess is that they're going to reno that and make it into some sort of event hall because in its iteration prior to the purchase, it was being rented out for that purpose. Like artists were using it as an artist space. And the guy who originally bought it from the Korean Methodist Church was going to like renovate it and make it into offices, but like he never did it. He never got the funding or something or whatever. But what's ironic is that guy bought it for like 3.5 million and Scientology bought it for 13 million. So I don't know how that extra 10 got tacked on there. They didn't do any improvements. It's falling apart. It's not in good shape. It's not in good shape. Your dog is agitated about the whole thing. So.
Yeah, I see.
What kind of dog do you have?
Sorry about that. The joys of being outside. But I have a 10-year-old English Cocker Spaniel. He's very sweet.
Can I see him? Can I see your dog? Where is he?
I might have to go and grab him. That was actually a neighbor's dog barking,
it was a neighbor's dog.
Inside, but
okay. Well, your dog's good then. I have
promise.
2 dogs.
We'll do this again, and I'll make sure that I bring him on. I'll be prepared next time.
I had a Cocker Spaniel once. Her name was Charlotte. Her name was Lady Charlotte because she was a full breed dog, but we called her Char. And she lived 13 years, and then she got, you know, poor Cocker Spaniels. They all get cataracts, and they all pee everywhere constantly, even after you fix them. It's kind of the worst. But I heard, and I met some in real life, that if you get a cockapoo, which sounds so gay, but it's like
on brand,
right? On brand for us. It's a, you know, it's like it's a Cocker Spaniel doodle essentially, right? It handles the peeing aspect where they don't have the accidents all the time, and the cataracts also. So they actually end up living, you know, a bit longer and stuff. Oh my god, and they're so adorable. Talk about
they are. I mean, for sure. And he's a good pup, and you know, he's an old man now, but luckily he's not having those problems.
That's so good.
Although he's been through 2 ACL surgeries and, you know, hip dysplasia and all that fun stuff, but he's doing really great. So I promise I'll bring him on next time.
Yes, I loved it. My dogs. Charlie's in her bed, and then I think Toby is like out there because I'm actually all alone at the homestead. My wife had to go into the office today, and the kids are at school, so it's just me and the dogs and
party
you, Dan.
At Nora's.
Party at Nora's, yeah, you know me, guys, super party animal. So let me ask you this: where are you next going to be? Where can people find you? Are you going out today, tomorrow? What's the plan, my friend?
I was planning on going at least for a walk down the boulevard to see the progress. Just keep an eye on the progress. I think the next major thing will be, well, there's the lighting on, I believe it's Sunday night at Blue. And then, of course, you know, the Christmas parade to look forward to on the 1st. So those are the next 2 major. And, you know, I work a lot and things are kind of getting crazy before the holidays. So I'm trying to figure out like where to sneak in different protests So, I'm kind of spontaneous. Sorry, I don't have a schedule, everybody, but
No. It's all
spontaneity is
good.
kind of fun. Whatever works. And, when I can get out there, it's better than not getting out there at all.
Yeah.
Same goes for anybody that's looking to protest. And like, this is a great time to start, especially if you're in the LA area with Winter Wonderland coming up. And of course,
Yes.
the parade on the 1st. It's really all hands on deck, and just inviting as many people who have been thinking about it to get involved, because shit's getting serious.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. I mean, and that's a holiday weekend. So for those of you who have never been to Los Angeles, it's already a trash dumpster fire to drive there, period. Tack on a holiday, okay? The worst days to live in Hollywood are the Winter Wonderland Parade, because Hollywood Boulevard shut down. Halloween.
Oh my God.
Fucking hate Halloween. I still hate Halloween to this day. Thank you.
Yep.
This is like, Angelinos are like, I don't go anywhere on Halloween, because you can't get, everywhere takes 4 hours. It doesn't even matter if you're driving 3 blocks. It takes 4 hours.
It takes an hour
to get there.
It's ridiculous.
I got sent out on a recruitment mission once on Halloween, where I had to drive out to the desert. Not out to Hemet, but like around there. It took 4 hours. And then coming back, we were just like, like it's just like literally driving in LA. Yeah. Driving in LA is the worst thing. Like, I was over on the west side with my mom, because she was at the Independent Spirit place doing a screenwriting class. And I get a call from a friend of mine randomly. Hey, I'm in town. I was like, oh, cool beans. I'm actually in LA right now. And they're like, oh, you want to come meet me? I was like, where are you? And they were on Los Feliz. And I was like, bro, he's like, and he's not from there. So he's like, it's only like, 4 miles. And I was like, bro, 4 miles? That's 2 hours one way. What are you talking about?
That's like pack a lunch and a dinner sort of travel. And it's sort of the same reason why, like, if I don't finish work earlier in the day and like I want to go to Blue, it's like, it's not going to happen, because what could be a 15-minute ride could turn into an hour and a half. So
yeah, people have no idea. It is insanity. Like, when I moved out of the greater Los Angeles area and moved to Ventura, there's a phenomenon that happens when you're not in LA, right? And I try to explain this to people, because they're like, oh, you lived in Hollywood. What was that like? And I'm like, well, besides being in a cult, it just smells like pee and broken dreams. Like, that's it. That's Hollywood.
Truth.
Everywhere you go, someone is sad because they didn't get an audition. Their screenplay didn't get picked. They're working at the Cheesecake Factory. They can't hardly pay rent. Rent is like $10,000 for a shoebox. It's insane. And everybody goes to LA with the same intention, which is like, I'm going to make it. They're going to pick me. Someone's going to pick me.
Nope.
And it's like the percentage of people that get picked out of the percentage of people that go is it's like less than 10%.
0.001. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's awful. It's
a
LA
rat
is
race
like,
for...
yeah. No, it's awful. But when I moved to
know what
Ventura,
anymore.
it's like when you're driving to Ventura, it's all like do. And then you get to Camarillo and you go down this huge hill that's called the grade. And as soon as you go down that grade, all of that energy is gone. And you just you relax. And nobody gives a fuck about Ventura, because it's like, it's in between Santa Barbara and Malibu. It's got 2 exits. People are like, did I see an Arby's? Ew, keep going. We'll just wait. I can hold it till we get to Santa Barbara.
Might have seen a cult off the highway.
Right? Yeah. I mean, people don't ever think about Ventura. So it was like the perfect place for me to really like decompress as a human. The schools were great for my kids. I was 7 minutes from the beach, which I loved. And the beaches there, totally different. Like, you go to a beach in LA, Santa Monica Beach, which is insane. Oh. It's a quarter mile, you guys, from the parking lot to the water. So you have to walk across a quarter mile of molten lava sand just to place your towel. And then, you don't want to be close to the bathrooms because they're disgusting. Homeless people live in there. It's awful. It's bad.
That's right.
Okay, so you're by there. You could get there first thing in the morning. It's beautiful. Nobody's around. You set your towel down. Just as you're finishing getting set up, some asshole will sit right next to you. You're like, ma'am, there is an entire beach.
Yeah.
They have to come right next to you, or like right behind you, or better yet, in front of you. And you're like, and everyone
so
wants to know who
true.
you are. Are you somebody? Should I take your picture? Are you paparazzi? It's like, no. When you go to Ventura, nobody gives a shit. They're just there to surf. They're just kids running around. You're just like
Exactly.
all body types. You're just chill, right? It's like, and that's
Such
LA in a
different-
nutshell.
Oh,
It's
and
wonderful.
That's what I love. The best part about the best part about living in LA is leaving LA.
Right?
That's my motto that I live by. But it's so true. Like nobody has the spatial awareness or just the perception that like they're going to be on top of you. Zero. It's ridiculous. But
No,
you know,
it's
I
awful.
also love the chaos.
So you have to love the chaos. And there's certain parts of LA that you can't get anywhere else. There's a vibe there. There's a feeling,
Yeah.
and there's like a certain like, as the French would say, joie de vivre about Los Angeles that is real. There is magic there. There is like this perceived magic that everybody puts on it. And so when you see all the millions of tourists that go through there on a daily basis, walking down Hollywood Boulevard, looking at the stars on the ground and taking pictures and going to Mann's Chinese Theater and putting their hands in these handprints and stuff. Like there's a
Which
certain,
is so funny because it's
Right?
an international destination, and when people come to Hollywood, it's like, oh, I'm sorry for the disappointment that
Right?
is Hollywood. Like
it is. You're not going to see a celebrity at Mann's Chinese just standing by their handprints. Like, did anybody want a picture? You want a picture? Like nobody's doing that.
Apparently, Ralph Macchio was getting a star today, so
Yes.
you know you might
heard.
spot a few different people,
But see, that's the
it's
only time
very
you
rare.
see them. That's the only time you see them in Hollywood is when they're getting a star, or if they make the mistake of going to like, you know, some shishi restaurant there and they don't get like a proper table, you know, like that's really the only time. But I mean, I swear to God, people would ask me all the time because I worked at Celebrity Center. Oh, you saw these people? I was like, frankly, I saw more people at the Gelsons across the street than I did in the Celebrity Center because that's where they all shop for their groceries. Like you want to go
That's
find
right.
celebrities,
That's
just walk
right.
up and down the grocery aisle. That's where they're at. Go find the Trader
That
Joe's
is the
that's
most
nearest
accurate,
the Hollywood
yes.
Hills. Everybody's got to buy groceries.
Now, that used to be the case. But now post COVID, everybody uses Postmates or those delivery services.
Yeah.
So now you don't see any.
No,
Which
unless
is kinda
they're
nice.
Jennifer Garner, who insists on doing all of her own shopping constantly, and I love her. She's everything. I think I love her so much. And the fact that they put her, spoilers in case you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, the fact that she was in there in her full Elektra fucking glory, you know, and she's the same age as me. I was like, bitch, like, damn it. I don't look that good, but she looks fucking amazing. And they let her
can
do,
do no wrong
and they
in
let
my
her do a
eyes.
Ben Affleck joke, which was fucking incredible. Oh, Daredevil
10 out of
died.
10.
Not, it's just, yeah. Oh well,
Moving on. Yeah, right.
that was so great. That was
So good,
so great.
good.
So amazing. But yeah, so guys, look out for Dan. We're going to, I'm going to start talking to Scotty and all these other guys. I don't know how to get a hold of Streets, but hopefully I can get a message to him. And let's see if we can get everybody there. And I'll just fucking put it on my channel 24 hours. I'll just, we'll just be doing streams or something. Because that is a holiday weekend, guys. It is, if you're thinking in your mind, I want to go and I want to be there on December 1st, you really got to plan it out because that is one of the most
like now.
trafficked weekends of the year through Los Angeles International Airport or Burbank or John Wayne, any one of those airports that you can fly into the Los Angeles area with. But if you're able to drive to there, I would suggest driving in on Saturday, and making like a little weekend of it and, going on Monday and being there, Sunday and being there and stuff for the parade that will happen and the opening of Winter Wonderland. Cause that's going to be key. I mean, hopefully people will be there throughout I think it's open for like 2 weeks. I can't remember how long
That sounds about right.
Or maybe it's like it closes like right before Christmas or something because they have Santa and everything. So I don't know. I can't accurately say how long, but it's at least a couple weeks that it's there. And I would say that I should go, Amy. Well, I'll have to talk to my wife about that bougie. Yeah.
Well, last year they got it shut down pretty quickly and pretty early. So who knows what the timeline will even look like this year.
The protesters messed it up because at first they just thought these guys were a joke. They literally thought it was a joke and they would just keep trying to recruit people. And with all those guys out there, and there was really only like 4 guys. It was literally like 4 people, y'all, that shut down the test center. Okay. But just be aware, Dan, and all the other protesters out there, if you guys thought that Pink Hat guy was a disturbance last year, he's, you know, and if you look at his socials, I feel really bad because this guy has been recruited by Scientology hook, line, and sinker, that he thinks he's going to make it in the industry. He thinks that what they're telling him, right, is going to do it. Like, he posted on his Instagram his stand-up, okay, because somebody is his agent or somebody is telling him to go do stand-up. And, like, it is the saddest thing I've ever seen because it's just him arguing with the audience about how fucking stupid stand-up is and he shouldn't be here and why is he having to do this and all this stuff. And it's like people are booing him and he's like almost fighting. I mean, like, clearly this person has some severe mental health defects. I don't know what they are, but that's apparent because of his attitude and like the way he acted towards protesters and things and trying to provoke fights. Be ready for 2.0 version of that. Like, and we see the aftermath of that with like Nance Drew right now and Boobgate. And I know we make like jokes about Boobgate, but like I've said many times,
you know, it's serious. Yeah,
it's very serious. We were trained weekly on how to engage enemies of the church and how to provoke them into assaulting us or coming close to assaulting us, like just getting worked up, like shut up, you know, and so that we could move our bodies in a way to hit some portion of their body and then LeBron flop on the ground and start, like, we trained to do this and then start screaming and crying and screaming help and screaming like, oh my God, oh, you know, like, and all this stuff, right? Yeah. And just acting it out. So these guys are, if we think that the 1.0 version was bad, right, where that guy was clearly, I would say my advice to you guys is if you have people show up who they're like, oh, hey, I'm here to protest, like, get their socials immediately and be like, oh, where can I follow you at? And look at their socials, look at what they've actually done, look at, you know, that stuff, because that's going to tell you if they're a legit protester or who they're associated with and things like that. Because like if they're actually broadcasting, they'll be live. Oh, you're live right now. Where can I, I tell my people watching to follow you live and stuff like that? And you'll know right away because they won't be live. They're just filming you. And they're trying to engage and keep the COVID 6-foot bubble. That's all I say. That's right. That's COVID gave us one thing that was wonderful, and that was 6 feet of distance between us and our person next to us. I miss that so bad.
Tell me about it.
Right, but keep that 6-foot bubble and be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of you know, people trying to come up behind you. Mark Bunker's tape from Buddy, who's actually James Richardson, the security chief of Celebrity Center National, is a perfect example of that. Mark was filming through the fence into Celebrity Center to, like, you know, get footage, and he stepped back from the fence. He did not realize that James was literally behind him, and he accidentally stepped on his foot and was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you were there. And then James went on to try and file assault charges against him because he, you know, he's so fat and he broke his foot and it's like injured. And the police were like, what the fuck, bro? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah. And that's the important part about streaming and having somebody else have another angle. You know, have a body cam. It's protect yourself as much as possible, but also expect that they're going to pull every punch they possibly can. This is round 2. And so don't fall for the bull baiting. And just make sure that you are safe. And if you can bring somebody, that's awesome. But if you're going alone, just make sure that you have the mechanisms and safe. Make sure somebody knows where you are. Yeah. And of course, you know, just be yourself.
I mean, I get worried even for you by yourself, Dan. I know you're a tall drink of water, okay, and you can, you know, you could take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like in a situation on your own. However, even you, as a man, you know, standing up there, you know, in your, you know, like, because people look down the street, oh, that's a tall guy, I'm gonna keep going, you know, like, but I worry, like, I get so worried every time I see Tori streaming by herself. I mean, this woman's in her 70s. I know. She's my mom's age. She's a little bit younger than my mom, like a couple years. But like a 74-year-old woman anywhere in Hollywood at night by themselves, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, that's incredibly dangerous. And then to top it off, you know, to be somebody who Scientology wants to get in trouble and wants to harm. I think Tori has a little protection bubble around her only because she is an old lady. And they've been so attacked because of like what happened with Rosemary and stuff. And we haven't even gotten all the tea on that. We're still working on that. Mike Brown let us know on that when he did his last video. That there are so many old people in there that they can't be seen like manhandling, you know, like a woman in her 70s, right? That would be just prove all the other things right. But still, there are random people in Hollywood who aren't part of Scientology who could definitely cause harm.
Seen.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, you know, you can't overplan, like go in with a plan. And I think, you know, because of those sort of situations where they set you up for failure, like I think part of my plan is to have my TV tech, to plant myself in a spot, have conversations, and not antagonize, just observe. This is what's happening. Here's the information, and do it in a calm way that, you know, won't distress the people around you or make them go to the next step to try to get you in trouble. Go in with the plan.
Yeah. And I think the other thing to remind yourself of, like, as you saw last night when you went to Winter Wonderland, they're already starting music tech to have like loud music blaring. So I think throughout your streams and like, especially at the beginning, you need to give like for protesters, like you need to give like a full disclosure. Like I'm on a public street. I have fair use of any sounds that come into this stream. Like do that at the very beginning of your stream. You know, I am not, you know,
that's a great idea.
I'm just because they're going to try again to privacy strike everybody, to try and get copyright strikes. They're going to play all the L. Ron BS music on the street, which then guess what, homie? I'm not in your concert hall recording your event. I'm outside. And if you're going to blare this, that's tough tits for you. You know, like you're putting it on the public street. Without my consent, frankly. I didn't consent to thank you for listening. You know, like,
well, you know, and
I'm assaulted.
I fight fire with fire, and I match energy. So believe me, I have a couple of AI songs, which are kind of some earworms that I'm just going to start blasting their way too. And,
good.
You know, so you know, of course, go in with the plan, go in with your tactics, but also like know the laws, know your rights, know the ordinances of the area, whether you're going to Hollywood or your local org, you know, figure out what is allowed, whether it's a radio or a megaphone. Like you gotta be prepared and know what your rights are. And that is, especially if law enforcement comes up to you and you need to be able to articulate that. You know, don't fall back into your shell. Like you gotta stand up and know what you're talking about.
And also let's also keep in mind that we know factually that the LAPD is in the pocket of Scientology, that the majority of them have been paid off. But also I would caution people, especially at the holiday time, because police are on like longer shifts because of the holidays. So they are already stressed out because crime goes up traditionally everywhere during the holiday season. Okay. So these guys who are, you know, they join law enforcement for a purpose. They join to serve and protect. That's what's on the side of all the vehicles. And most of the people who join law enforcement, just like Scientologists, join for a good intention because they want to be seen as a helper. They want to, you know, prevent stuff that happened in their neighborhood when they were kids from happening to other people, right? So if you approach the law enforcement people, like I always do, even when I think they're wrong for talking to me or whatever, you have to approach them with respect, right? With like, you know, addressing them as officer or sergeant if you can see their rank or whatever and you recognize that, you know, and listening to them and then, you know, making sure you're heard. But like, it's the same thing I tell my kids. Like, if you're just going to come at me with like attitude at 300, like the conversation's over. I don't even care. Even if you're right. Like, I don't care. You know, I'm not here to listen to that.
And the nature of protesting is you're going to encounter a lot of different people with their own method and their own style and bringing their own engagement to it. And you need to feel comfortable if it's not a method that you agree with to remove yourself from that situation and not escalate it. And so just go in being open-minded that you're going to bring your own style, you're going to bring your own plan, but of course you will be encountering other people who have their own ideas as well. And it's up to you to make sure that you are in a safe place and you are protecting yourself.
Yes, always, because if you if something bad happens to you as a protester, that's the worst case scenario. Honestly, that's the worst case scenario, whether that means a physical injury of some kind, like Confident Chris suffered from that guy who physically attacked him. You know, I mean, he lost a tooth. You know, I mean, like, that's not nothing. Or it's, you know, the psychological aspect, like, you know, DOA and Scott, you know, Scotty's gone through being swatted several times, you know, and being, you know, falsely detained and things like that.
Right.
Like, that is psychologically damaging, you know, and it's also an incredible waste of taxpayer money. An incredible waste of taxpayer money for these false swattings and things like that, and these false fire, you know, things. And just, it's so stressful because the people who are responding to that, you have to also understand, they're being told over the radio that someone is armed and dangerous.
Right.
And so they're at 100. They have one drill for that, and that is to disarm that person or eliminate them. That's it. That's their job at that moment, to keep everyone else in the public safe from some crazy person who is in fact armed and dangerous. And we've seen these things play out for real. You know, school shootings happen almost every day in this country, you know, and people go on rampages for various different reasons. And so when the police are responding, even though it's a false call, and we know it's a false call, we're watching, we're seeing the stream, they don't know that. They don't know this is another Scientology bullshit call. Let's just roll up like cash, like, oh, hey, how you doing, Scott? All right, bye. You know, like, they don't know. They don't know. Now, could they approach it differently when they see Scott? Like, obviously, they probably have a fucking picture of him at the station at this point, you know, like, and could they approach it like, okay, guys, it's Scott. Just keep going. Call off the chopper. It's bullshit. Case. Right. And it's not the case. And they're not investigating where these false calls are coming from. They're still using force. They're still using intimidation and numbers. You know, I think the greatest time that ever happened was when Mindy's mom was there with him, and she was like, what are you guys doing? You stop that. Like, she was like, she just fully like mommed them. Like, that's it. You see what he's doing? Put that away. What are you guys doing here? Get out of here. Come on. Don't waste your time here. You know, like, I was like, I love you so much. Like, she was just like, what are we doing? Hello, I'm sitting in this chair.
She's a spitfire.
She is. Like, don't mess with moms, man. Don't mess with, like, you know, don't mess with Hollywood stage moms. That's all I got to say. Like, she was like, excuse me. I would like your badge number. I would like everyone's number. I would like the mayor's number right now. You know, like, I was like, you go. She was fucking great. But
she was making them shiver in their boots. Yeah.
She did. Those guys were like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Okay. You know, she's like, it's cold out here. Get a jacket. Go on.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out. But I think, you know, those are the, you know, and I think about you guys all the time, you know, about your safety and things like that. And I just love, I mean, I haven't seen anything yet on your streams where I'm like, oh God, Dan, run, you know, like, and I'm so glad for that, you know, but
well,
like,
we did have an encounter the other night, but it had nothing to do with protesting. But it's just crazy people. You're going to encounter crazy people out on the street, whether they're Scientologists or not. Like, it's just a matter of fact.
Did that make you super nervous when that guy was just like there and like with the weird shit?
No, because he looked like a complete tool. I was like, really? Like, really?
Yeah.
But I'm totally not a fighter. Like, I'm not a fighter. And so I'm just like, get it out, bro. Like, get it out. You know, like, what are you going to do? And I have a body cam and that camera. Yeah. And I have your license plate because your car's parked right there. So, like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, people are dumb. I mean, but see, those are the kind, I mean, you know, like, those are the kind of people that Scientology is going to hire. Right? Because they're putting out these calls. They will put out, and you guys should also like go through and look at the like the ads in the, you know, back page, backstage and stuff like that. Because I guarantee you're going to find ads for people to come and talk to you guys. I promise you, because they're going to advertise everywhere. They're going to advertise on Craigslist. They're going to advertise.
That's a great point.
All the things, and you guys should answer the ad. But look for it, because then you'll see that they're putting out these ads. They're paying these people to come. They're not going to say they're protesting. They'll have them meet them, you know, somewhere at one of their buildings, most likely the Scientology Media Productions building, which is down the street, you know, where they have a whole studio, and they'll brief them there on their acting gig, you know, and you're going to be on camera, which is true because everyone there is protesting and live streaming. So the things they're telling these people aren't lies per se, right? It's just stretching the truth a little bit. So I would look out for that. I would look out for that too. We have
Which is insane that they would recruit people to do that to then put them in a dangerous situation. It's crazy, but you got to be crazy to match crazy, right?
Right.
So there you go.
Right. They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. They literally do not care. They have zero cares. Let me pull up the questions here.
Ooh.
Yeah, we have so many questions. Okay. See.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, I haven't had the chat open or anything. I'm just like, I forget that word. Oh my God, how many people?
See, this is what happens when you're here with me is you just see me and the little stuff here. You don't see all the chat and stuff. So it's like, I like that because my chat is like in a separate window off to the side. It's not like StreamYard where it's like right in your face. So I don't ignore chat. They know that. But if you want to ask a question or comment, please put comment or question and then I'll find it. So let's go to the questions first.
Cool.
Trisha says first, what is Dan's channel? I will bring that up again, of course. And it is a very easy one to find. It is at Dan Walks LA. Please, please, please check out his channel, guys, and give him a subscribe and a like. And he does fabulous, fabulous protesting, guys, out there, and really engages with a lot of people and educates a lot of people. So, it's great stuff to watch. Emily Owens, Dan, wants to know, are you sitting on your patio? I'm used to seeing you walking on a highway overpass.
I am sitting on my patio. It's actually a beautiful day right now. It's been so bitterly cold that, it's been uncomfortable. I've been bundling up.
And to
whenever I'm
clarify
outside.
for the rest of the country,
Beautiful.
bitterly cold is 60 degrees in Los Angeles. I woke up to 37. Dan, you hush your mouth.
I'm a delicate little flower, okay?
Yes, I know. I know. Most Angelinos are. Guys, if it gets below 70 in LA, it is now
outside.
Winter. People have Ugg boots, parkas, beanies. Yeah, no. We're like, what is it right now here? We're 50. We've reached our high today. It's 50. Okay.
But you lived here, obviously, and you know that the winds can be very crazy.
The Santa Anas are
and
no
we've
joke.
had that.
The Santa Anas are no joke. And also they own across all of Los Angeles to the ocean. It's awful. I'm going to sneeze just thinking about it.
Just a stuffed up mess. Exactly.
Right? No, it's disgusting. It's awful. She wants to know, do recruiters who learn a person is gay lie and say they'll help them, I guess, not be gay? Yes. Yes. In some ways, but they don't want to tell people that are gay, like, hey, we can help you to not be gay. Because most gay people are like, go fuck yourself if they're out and proud. Right. But if it's a situation where the person is like, I'm trying to change, because like a lot of gays, grew up in conservative Christian situations where also being the gay is not okay. They may take that as like, oh, you guys can help me. Like I went to the prayer camp. That didn't work. So now maybe you guys have a solution because it's science, No, Chi, the clear cog is not better than the Xenu references because that is also considered illegal and can cause people illnesses and things like that. So yeah, that's just, the people reading that, like, let's say they aren't clear and they read the clear cog and then they go and ask somebody, is that what it means when I'm clear? Now they're going to get a sec check and it's going to, like, putting these things out there for people who do genuinely get curious and ask a question ends up in punitive damages for them. Right. So my position on that is like, don't make a Scientologist go through some punitive action. Get them actually questioning things that hit their pocketbook, like their IAS donations that they're forced to give. And how come they have to redo the bridge for the 27th time and all this other stuff? Because L. Ron Hubbard wrote it and it was perfect. Why is it being done again? Why do I have to do the Pura for the 6th time? Like things like that are going to get them questioning the things they're being made to do, but things they don't know about or things that are secret, just it becomes like mocking. That's just my opinion, but question from Trisha for Dan. Have any of their agents or members tried to mess with you while you're protesting?
Well, I mean, it's a tough question to answer because, some of them for sure, like when I was at the La Poubelle protest months and months and months ago, I was like, was I assaulted? Like, yeah, I was, by, the Barbie lady.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, security left me alone. I can't say like I've had too many face-to-face confrontations. A couple, but it's not a regular thing. So no, they just kind of let me do my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think they're, you know, they're pretty much leaving you alone because like you're gay. So they can't help you. And
Right.
honestly, they don't want people talking to gay people. They don't want, because then if they talk to you, Dan, they would know that gay people are awesome and you're so sweet and kind and nice. And so then it would like crack all of the, you know, it would really crack the things that they're told, that they're made to believe, that gay people are 1-1, that they're there to harm you, you know. So like they see you just out front like as a danger to them, as a danger to their like life, right?
Oh, I hope that's the case. And, you know, sometimes obviously you do get heated in the moment, but ultimately, like, I try to go into these things with a calm demeanor, but, you know, usually it down spirals depending on what the hell's going on. But, yeah, I try to, whether, you know, we bring the gay part into it or not, I just try to be approachable and like a calm presence. And like, if we can get them questioning, like, oh, wow, like he's actually not as bad on the outside world as we're led to believe, like that would be a great realization for them to have.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can get crazy.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think that that's such a good representation. The fact that you are gay and you are kind and you are there to help them is like a huge thing, you know, is like a huge deal. Kelly, U2 fan wants to know a question. I have to step aside for just one moment. Where did you get your squirrel hat? I have to help a team.
The squirrel hat, of course. The squirrel hat is just from Amazon, actually, and I got that because KK, rest in peace, actually bought Pearl Snappy her squirrel hat, and so I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome! I have to get one, you know, with the moving ears and everything. So yeah, I think it was like $10 on Amazon. It wasn't anything crazy.
Wow,
they're so cute though, and there's a bunch of other animals, so check those out. But squirrel is very much on brand.
Right. Sorry, my team.
I love your chair. Ooh, your
Amazon.
Like lime green. Sick. Speaking of Amazon, # not sponsored.
Right. It's so, I'll put the brand up there. It's so comfortable. It has like an adjustable, there's like a little pillow you can put in the back to adjust for your back. It's very, and it has a footrest. You can pull it out and like lay totally flat. I was like, yeah,
she
bitch. Bougie. And it was like not even that expensive. Like I bought my wife a super expensive one from Office Depot, and I don't regret that purchase because she works very hard every day. Bye, sweetheart. I love you. You know, but yeah, mine was like half of what hers cost. So
as somebody who's tethered to their computer and sits in front of it quite a bit, I should probably upgrade my chair.
You need to. It's important.
Yeah. Because
I had another chair. It was like I bought a gaming chair at Costco, and I thought, okay, this will be comfortable, and it's really
No.
I wore it out. It's
like,
not.
Do this.
Yeah, it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I know I need better posture, but like that's not. Yeah, it's not helping me. No. Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, she wants to know, are they too lazy to file permits or doing unpermitted work because it'd never be approved? Probably both.
Both, definitely, for sure.
Should protesters, and this is a good question, Adam Carmona, I like this question. Should protesters ask Scientologists how Hubbard rose above the bank? Yes, you should. That is a great question because it's one that they should have the answer to. Because it is told very, very many times how Hubbard alone rose above his bank to discover these things. Like how did he do it? Why him?
Great question.
You know, because he's like Buddha. Stacy Toms, my one of my fabulous mods, wants to know, have you been to Pasadena org? She says she was there a couple months ago. It was so dead and creepy.
I have not been to the Pasadena org. That's sort of my next like uncharted territory. I know Matt covers it. MD Media does a great job covering it.
Yeah.
But, you know, between like Pasadena and Glendale, where there's like a Way to Happiness front, like I do need to get to those
I keep telling people to go to the Way to Happiness Foundation. First of all, there's fabulous restaurants on that block. Totally great. And it's right by the Galleria. So if you need to go shopping, or the Americana, which is down the street, you can go to either.
Yep.
Right. But yeah, like nobody goes to the Way to Happiness building, and they should absolutely like absolutely get protested because it's one of their largest front groups where people think it's just, it's fun precepts. It's just, like brush your teeth. Like, what's wrong with that? Why are you guys mad about brushing your teeth? Like, we're not mad about that.
We'll have to take a field trip someday soon. So I will make that happen. It's been on my radar for a while.
The Ventura org is the saddest place though I've ever been. It is just, there's like 3 cars and it's all the staff members.
It's a ghost town.
And they put out a speaker for me. They put a speaker out for me. I was like, guys, I'm all by myself. There's nobody there. Who can hear me? Who can hear me? It was nuts.
That's a crazy place. That's a crazy place.
It's totally nuts. Kathy Smith says DOA drove past another Scientology church and it was boarded up today. Anyone know what's going on? I don't know where he went today. I'll have to check that out. Find out what's...
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, if it's totally... I don't know where Scotty went.
Sorry,
Scotty,
Kathy.
Yeah, no, I'll try and find out, Kathy, and we'll see. I mean, let's just see here. We'll just open up another tab here so I can go back to Dan. Let's see, where did Scott go today?
I'm curious.
But see, then the question is, which one of his channels did he do it on?
Oh, God, there's the question.
Right? Because I'm always like, Scott, which one am I supposed to tune into? No, that's 2 days ago.
2 days ago?
That's from DOA, so let's go to the lore. Let's go to lore.
He's mentioned something with like having multiple channels and like the algorithm is like I'm just like,
so here we go.
I can't even manage one.
So he's got 3. He's got DOA, the lore of DOA, because DOA was shut down for a while, and then Streamer Wars, which is like, he goes. So let's see, where is he? Okay, he's at blue here. We're just gonna lots of blue coverage. Nice. Okay, now he's driving again. Now he's by Celebrity Center. Yeah. It looks like Celebrity Center. No, that's not Celebrity Center. Some other castle. Did that look like Celebrity Center? I was like, oh, he's at Celebrity Center. I was like, oh, wait, there's another castle building somewhere. We're just driving all over LA today. Okay, we're on Hollywood now. There's the Pantages.
Members of his security team were also
arriving.
Plaintiff in.
I think he's talking about the person's talking about the test center. Okay, now he's outside. Now he went back. Maybe it's because he drove by the test center.
And injuries that he flyer.
He's just playing like the radio. Scotty.
The Coast Highway.
So what you know, it's a setup where you're 3 years old. Come on.
Okay, so here he is with somebody.
Did they move your shit out of here?
Yeah, I saw that.
Where is he now?
That was, I believe, downtown at like the...
They threw all the shit over here?
With those luxury buildings.
Like I said, I'm not being I'm tired of being quiet, bro. I lost all my shit again. A brand new phone. A fucking wallet. I'm already homeless.
So this unhoused guy got his stuff like tossed by some security guards or something.
I have nothing, dude. I have a chest and I can't really even walk. They're trying to tell me, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
And then this guy's just calling it in. That's awful. But if it looked boarded up, Kathy, it might have been the test center where Dan was last night, because they have a lot of like black up. The windows are like frosted now the whole way, I think, so you can't see in at all, or they have the shades drawn, because they don't want people to see inside. But yeah, I'll go scrub through that some more and we'll see. Ann Castillas asks, Dan, can you put subtitles on your videos with Espanol? That way you could speak to those families who are not English speakers.
I'm assuming she means the TV tech videos, which is a fantastic idea. I don't speak Spanish, so that's a little difficult. I do have some boards in the slideshow that are in Spanish. But yeah, we'll see if we can get somebody to help me translate that. That would be a great idea.
Yeah, I've been talking to I know Serge Del Mar at Literally Serge has started doing more Spanish content because they are so targeting Latin America right now. Like if you go here to Scientology's Twitter, okay, the first thing that is from the 14th that isn't their pinned thing from January 31st, L. Ron Hubbard's wisdom unites Mexico's indigenous people, brings hope. They are claiming, Anne, that they are uniting the indigenous peoples of Mexico with Scientology. They are big time trying to take over Mexico and all the other, especially smaller Latin America countries, with this nonsense. It is really bad. They look at these buildings they bought and stuff. So anyone out there, and yourself included, if you can aid Dan in some way with these translations and things like that, that would be super helpful, because we do need to be able to talk to the Spanish-speaking community here, especially in Los Angeles, which is millions of people, and let them know that Scientology is absolutely lying to them and, usurping their culture to make a buck,
For sure. Yeah, but that's a great idea, Anne. And hi, Anne. Good to see you.
Reconnecting in the house. Dan, love your work. Could you do a video about setting up your trolley video? That has been very effective for the street trafficking and educating people. And has that been effective? Like, they want a how-to, Dan, in Australia, so they can do the same thing.
I can do that. I have a short of me setting, I think it was just the table. I'm not sure if it was the actual wagon, but for sure, yeah, it's basically the same setup minus a table. So,
okay.
Yeah, I can absolutely do that. And I do want to make those, the slideshow and the things that, are on the TV. I do need to make those available for the community at large as well. So that's coming. Believe me. There's so much to do. I can't prioritize anymore.
No, of course. I mean, listen, you're doing a million things, but yeah, I mean, if we could get more people doing, the hashtag patented Dan Walks LA, sidewalk, I don't even know what we would call it, sidewalk video display, that would be amazing, because it is effective, and people stop. In the same way, when DOA and Laura and Serge did their amazingly beautiful and brilliant art protest in front of the courthouse, that was so powerful. I mean, everyone was stopping.
Yeah.
Everyone was looking. They were asking questions. They really engaged with so many people about the subject of child brides and Scientology, which is a problem still today. It was so powerful to see them be able to do that on such a large scale. I'm trying to go through and look. Somebody asked for the brand of my chair, so I'm scrolling through my Amazon. And let me tell you, my wife and I, we live on Amazon. So I'll put this in the chat. The brand is called, of course, it's an Amazon brand. Who knows where this comes from? Dumos. The Dumos office computer chair. Let me put a link in here. I'll pull it up on the screen here. Yeah, it's just, let's see here. This is a book I keep meaning to buy. That's why it keeps going back to that. So it's the Dumos office computer desk chair. There we go. Not that one. I have this one, but I have it in the green. And that's my chair. See how it has a little pull-out thing here for your feet?
Heck yeah.
It's the bomb diggity dong dong. And thank you,
$100,
Tazzy.
that's great.
Right? Cool. It was $100, guys. So it's yeah. Let me get y'all a link. I'll put it in there. A heads up, it is this is an affiliate link, so I get 2 cents if you guys buy the chair from that link. Okay, there you go. Full disclosure. Oh. But yeah, no, it's great. And it comes in multiple colors. I liked the green because it was just different. But it comes in blue, like a, I want to say a robin's.
No goldenrod.
No goldenrod. Black. It comes in black, of course, and then gray. So those are the 4 colors. And it's only $100.
Sick.
So yeah, no, it's great. And it's very comfy. And I love the little extra leg rest thing if I just need to chill out. And it's ergonomic, guys, because they put the picture of the spine on there. So you can't put a spine on something if it's not actually, that's the Amazon rules. As we all know, you can't do that. All right, let's go to the comments here. Adam Carmona says he's going to watch this 11 times. Thank you, Adam.
Oh my
Appreciate.
God.
Appreciate.
Thank you, Adam, for that.
Amy says she knew a woman whose maiden name was Schmuckler. And you know why it was her maiden name? Because she got married right quick.
Sure, she got married young. Yep.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
Ghana Fawcett says, I'm howling here. You two definitely need to do more streams. Yes, we have had a lot of fun.
This has been so fun.
Right? Love P Flag, my family. Comment, love you both. Well, thank you. We love you back. We love you back. Thank you for always being here on my streams, giving love. I appreciate that. Windy City in the house. Xenu, new planet. Who dis? Love you out there. Growing up in Catholicism, I thought being gay was at the level of mortal sin, which is akin to murder. So that was really heavy and messed me up even more.
Yep.
I would be disowned.
Same.
Yeah, Emily. Yeah.
I am a fallen Catholic, and my grandmother literally told me that she would disown me if any of her grandchildren were gay, and that was really hard. That was really, really hard.
Sorry.
Yeah, it sucks, but you find your own way, and when she died, she was still my best friend. It just sucked to hear that,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. Gunna Fawcett says Dan is lethally adorable and nice. I would concur with that statement.
Well, I hope the Scientos and Ted think so. So,
right? Chi says petition to rename Dan Walks LA to Dan Theta.
Dan Theta. we're gonna rebrand everything. I'm no longer
I love
walking.
it. I love it. I love it. Amy says they're like New York City parking signs. Yeah, LA. I would imagine New York City is a total debacle too. I thought the dark green tree signified L. Ron Hubbard's gum line. That gets you an official. There you go,
Yeah,
Chi.
and the wooden teeth, perfect.
Oh man, right? It's not about the religion; it's about the abuse. No more kids in Scientology. Kids cannot consent. Correct. And thank you for always being here.
Amen. Preach.
Yeah. Yeah. LRH did want us to think that he was an intelligista, Amy. That's correct. Bridge 1872 says Winter Wonderland will open on December 1st in Clearwater 2. Santa arrives at 6 p.m. So guys, Winter Wonderland, December 1st, they're going to open it. It will be a big Hazagaza right after the parade is over. They will want people and children to be going in there after the parade. Santa will be on a float. It'll be a whole thing. The end of musing says comment word clearing sounds educated. Word clearing and sounding educated is like Latin. Only lawyers and biologists and of some description still use parts of it. Yeah, basically accurate. Itinerant. I'm not saying that word right. One use when trying to serve legal documents or trying to serve COB. True. Woohoo for future dog tax. I don't know what that means. What's happening with dog taxes? Oh, we're going to see your dog. I got you. I was like, wait, what?
Oh,
British
yes.
royals are not allowed long pants till a certain age. Prince George, long equals long for formal, but Prince Louis short pants. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they still follow that tradition.
You went way back in the chat, didn't you?
Right? Yeah, we're everywhere. Well, if they put comment, I'm gonna bring it up. As long as it's not bad. Please check out Dan's TED project. You have a TED project? Where is this located?
It's in my community tab, right where you are. Actually,
let's go to the community tab. Hello, I do not know about this.
Keep scrolling. Scroll a little bit more. Right
the
there.
TED project. Oh, this TED. I thought you were doing something with Ted, like you were going to go speak. Okay, so let's show Ted some
TED
troll
talk.
love. Edit your own and submit to danwalksla@gmail.com. Download this photo, which is, background free here, and then you get to put Ted wherever you want. And yeah, that is fun. That is fun, guys.
I am
download the
such a
photo.
troll.
I may have some fun with this. I have Canva Pro, and we're gonna go wild. And look at Ted. He looks very distinguished in this photo. This is very Marlboro Man. It's giving, the
most interesting man. Believe me,
right?
he's worked on that glare. And when I got that glamour shot, I was like, "Oh, Ted, this is the one.
This is it.
This is the frame." Yeah, he knew it. Especially when he did it to the ferry, he was like, "Oh, I'm in trouble." I was like,
"Yeah,
I got you."
This is amazing. Oh, I did not know about this TED project. Now I love it. Dorothy Gale says, this is a great interview. I concur, Dorothy. Thank you.
I hope so.
Stacy says, Dan, it's better to be with someone then you have another camera and a witness. Yes, we did go over that for sure.
That is always the case. Yeah.
That's always the best case scenario, but sometimes it's not the case.
Unfortunately,
but,
it's hard to coordinate, believe me. But that would always be my preference, but it is what it is,
Yeah, if you guys want to go protesting with Dan, there's his email, danwalksla@gmail.com. Hit him up. You guys can protest together. Give Dan a holler.
100%.
And Amusing said, would love to super chat, but ironically, my phone has decided to have a security delay and no idea how to turn it off. Well, take care of that. That's important. Don't mess around with that.
Very convenient.
Reconnecting in Australia says, your protesting makes a difference, inspiring us in Australia. Thank you for your passion and your service.
My pleasure. And of course, whenever anybody decides to go and protest, let me know. We'll all support you however we can, whether you're streaming or not. And always bring your authentic self and your skill set to it. Do what you are comfortable doing.
Yes.
And what you can do.
I have to do my obligatory hi, Amber, who's in Illinois. And she says it's snowing. It's snowing. It's snowing here in Oregon too, honey. So yeah.
Bless.
That Witch Share says, my mom believed you could pray away the gay. That is a common misconception. You can't shout it out either. Yeah.
That's what my partner went through.
Yeah. Mischief says, I feel for the gay kids in Scientology and I'm straight, as if they don't have enough to contend with. Yeah. Yeah. It's bad news. What, Amber? I hope you took that. Amber says, I found a Way to Happiness booklet in one of the free libraries by my house. I took it for my fireplace burn. Good job.
Good.
Don't let people get that crapola. My God. And Amusing says, I searched for protesting rules on Melbourne on iPhone 13 mini and got totally different search results on this phone, iPhone 15, when I searched to post. That's interesting. When you get a new phone, right, it does change like your IP address and things like that. So the way the internet works, kids, just super fast, because this would be like a 20-hour lecture. Every time your IP changes and you like become fresh on the internet again, even though you're logging into your old stuff, it's going to give you a totally different look as if you never looked for it before, right? And that would happen even if you like, let's say you downloaded Firefox for the first time and you use Firefox, you're going to get totally different results than you would from, say, Safari or Chrome if you've been using those beforehand, okay? And then once they all start talking together, then you just get the same shit. So it's just, yeah. It's just, that's the way the internet works. They just hadn't tracked you there yet. Oh, yes. And also people want to link to the power, like people want a whole link. They want to link to the power supply you use, but also like just to all your stuff, your whole setup. They want a how to.
That sounds good. I
watching
can do that.
you sing along to your songs in front of the test center was fire. That's what Rock says. Yes.
Girl, I can lip sync for my life any day.
Yes. Oh my God. Can you imagine if we got RuPaul out there and just did like a whole drag thing? And like they are just lip syncing for their life, but made to do the Road to Freedom album. Can you imagine how mad those queens would be?
Crossed my mind. I make an ugly woman. I do not look good in drag, but
that is not true. I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe that for 1 second.
Ooh, girl.
That is false. That is false. I do not. That's a straight up black
but
PR.
Never say never. It could happen. It could happen.
Listen, if we can get a series of drag queens to come out and protest with us, please. Listen up, drag queens of LA. We need you. We need your help. There's a I have to remember their name. But yeah, the drag queens here in Portland are fierce. They are.
Don't mess with the drag queen.
No, don't mess with any drag queens, period. But yeah. You know what I would love? I would love somehow to become relevant enough to like go on, like Trixie and Katya and just like talk to them about, I love them both so much. Like
I would so be here for that stream.
Right?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I just to get to talk to them, but just to be like, like you guys are in the business. Like, have you ever encountered Scientology? Like what has happened? And like, even to talk to Mama Ru and just be like, has anyone ever approached you? Like, has anyone ever thought, I mean, like he's always has Michelle Visage on there who's besties with Leah, and just be like, What's the deal? Help
What's
a
the
sister
yeah.
out. Like, come and help us. Like, can you do a fabulous protest with us where we're just like, well, let's promote your show in front of Big Blue and just like march up and down fucking L. Ron Hubbard Way and like,
Oh my God.
like a parade.
Now I'm dreaming.
Oh my
I am
God.
so dreaming.
Can we get a drag permit for L. Ron Hubbard Way to do a drag fashion show on L. Ron? We need to make this happen, Dan. We need a drag fashion show on L. Ron Hubbard Way. We need to just like whatever day they don't have a permit for, we need to get that day.
Yeah.
And just,
I mean,
that's
Jessica's
it.
been denied permits, but if we get RuPaul to get the permit, I think we're in.
Yeah. We need to partner with the Gay and Lesbian Center that's literally around the corner from what's now Mama's Shelter, which used to be the Wilcox. We could see their building and the fabulous lights every night and we'd be like, ew, you know, like we need these guys to like be like, remember those people that used to live around the corner from you and spit on you? Like, we need help. We need help.
Such a great
to
idea.
combat them. Yeah, no, that center there is fabulous. If you are, an LA youth or, a closeted Scientologist, please go to that center. It's off of Selma. I don't remember what the cross street is. Let me pull it up here on the maps.
Yeah, I'm trying to think myself. Selma and...
Let's see here.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, I forget the other little cross street because we never walked down that street on purpose, because we could get turned gay. We didn't want to go there. We were just like,
I know there's one south of Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, there's this one that's on Lexington. That's the LGBT Center. Yeah, that's like right above Santa Monica, right near Highland. But the other one, where are you? Where are you hiding? No, that's that one. Is that it? Is this the one I'm thinking about? Yes.
Oh,
it's now
yep, that would be it.
This would be it. So it's on Selma and Schrader.
Schrader, okay.
Yeah. The address is 1625 Schrader Boulevard. It's right here. And guys, this is how close I was to the Lesbian and Gay Center. I'm going to put the little street guy here, okay? So every night I would have to walk home and go to this building. This is the building I lived in, okay? I lived like right here. I lived in this floor here on the third floor. I also lived here. I lived in that one. I lived on one that was on the other side. But this was the room I was in like almost the longest right here. Okay. And the Lesbian and Gay Center, this is the post office. It's a great post office, by the way. You just go down the block. This is a brand new building. This did not exist when I lived there. That is, somebody bought that space and renovated it. And you go to the very next street, guys, to Schrader. Okay. And there you are. You can see all the gays. So we would never walk home that way. Also, it was going an extra block, but we would never. This was never a street you went on for any purpose because you might see the flag. The flag, it will blind you like a Care Bear stare and turn you gay. Too much gay. Too much gay. But this is a great place. There's multiple Los Angeles gay and lesbian centers. Please go to them if you're closeted and just go meet some gay people and find out, because there's nothing wrong with you. You're not evil. You're not 1-1. You're not a bad person. You're not going to murder anyone. No one's going to die because you are the gay. Okay. You will just become incredibly happy because you'll be yourself and thus.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So just please do yourself a favor and don't,
great resource.
deny yourself. Yeah. Just go. Ted. Yeah. There's Ted. We got to have Ted, but yeah. For Spanish, Debbie Green says, for Spanish, go to Transcribe app and you can either type or say what you want in Spanish. Okay. Thank you, Debbie.
I know it's not the matter of doing it. It's just the time to do it.
No. And if somebody else wants to go and like put Dan's, PowerPoint into Spanish, please, again, email Dan. The email's right there, danwalksla@gmail.com. Hit him up and team up. We're all for teamwork, dreamwork, okay?
That's right.
CJ says, we need Dan's laugh recorded for a track.
Next.
There you go. You guys got it right there. Just record that. Yes, Dan Theta would be a great drag name.
Oh my God. Done.
Right? Right. There was I listen to all kinds of music. I listen to tons of music. And there is a gentleman right now. I'm going to give you this name and you tell me if this is his real name or if this is a drag person. Okay, let me pull this.
Real or drag?
Is it real or drag? Right? Like we need to do this as like a game.
Game show music, yeah.
Game show, real or drag name. Let me find him here because it's so absolutely like I cannot believe that this is his actual name, but yeah. Where are you? Okay. The name is Tucker Wetmore.
Oh God. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Is it real or is it drag?
I'm torn. I'm really torn. I'm gonna go with drag.
You would be incorrect. You would be incorrect. Here is Tucker Wetmore. He even has his own website. This is Tucker Wetmore.
And very tight pants.
And the name of his album is Waves on a Sunset. There he is again in a very tight shirt. I do not believe he is the gay. There is a gay country star. It is not Tucker Wetmore. But yeah, his song was featured in the film Twisters. Yeah. Tucker Wetmore. That is how is that not already a drag name though?
It's pretty incredible. And his mama named him that. I guess.
Tucker Wetmore. If he's not gay, so one day he will be. I mean, look at these white shoes with this white. I mean, honey, white after Labor Day, and you're not a gay. What's happening? But also tacky.
Slightly, yeah.
Slightly
this
tacky.
Is down on the tone scale.
Yeah, I mean, the cream with the white, we're not matching. You knew that was cream. It wasn't white. Yes, Phil Jones in the house, the creator of the Call Me billboards that we were talking about earlier, is also so learned and sage. I love Phil so much. Honestly, one of the kindest people you'll ever meet in your whole entire existence.
Hands down. Hands down.
100%. It says much of the religion teachings dictate the abuse, and that is factual. Like what they're doing is standard tech. So, it's not bad. Ganja Girl says, it's so offensive they do Christmas events after what they say about Jesus. Correct. The End of Musing says, I'm a lawyer and a biologist. Okay, well, then you know lots of fancy pants words. Yeah. Oh, okay, so the boarded up place from Scotty's stream is at 1 hour and 46 minutes. Let's go to there.
And then right here, as you can see, the columns with the 19.
I'm just going to mute whatever he's listening to there.
Okay, well, that's the exhibition center.
So right here, yeah, the thing he just drove by right here, that's the Life exhibition. But
was it boarded up?
Yeah, let's look again here. Because I didn't see, but the other one looks boarded up, but that's just their frosted windows. But let's look again. That is a building where they go to eat at. Like dining and stuff is in there. And then they have like a couple offices. So right here where this column is, right here, that's the Life exhibition. Okay. And then this one, let's see if there's any boards on it.
Just the Sea Org logo.
There's the Sea Org logo. So those aren't, I don't think those are boards right there, but
no,
it is some sort of like outer shading.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then see, these are all just shades drawn. because they don't want anybody looking in. That's their crew dining. But good catch though in noticing that. And that is another hot spot on Ivar and Hollywood, where that where the life exhibition is. So if you're not a known protester and you go there, it's a free tour. You can go get that tour and see everything they say about L. Ron. Yeah. Liz Ferris just wants to say to you, Dimples.
Hi, Liz.
Please shout out the Dan Walks LA Going Clear Dance Challenge. What is?
We have a lot going on, Nora.
I know. What is this? There's a dance challenge.
I made a song, an AI song called, Going Clear. And Fluffer Squirrel UK started it, and Rika at PDX actually came on and did it too. And they just filmed themselves dancing. It was like the electric slide.
So are we doing like a TikTok challenge on this AI song?
That's exactly right.
I love it. I love it.
It's pretty hysterical.
Somebody says the cow needs to be peeking over Ted's shoulder. Honey, this is for you to do. Get in your Canva and make it.
There's your inspiration.
Do it. Do it.
Send it over.
Okay, Confident Chris just reposted a replay of Winter Wonderland from last year. Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be huge, guys. There's tons of people, like tens of thousands of people invade Hollywood. It's gross for the people who live there. I apologize in advance. Dan, it's going to be awful for you. But there's a ton of people to educate about Scientology that are going to be there.
That's what I'm saying. If you're thinking about protesting, now's the time to get on board.
And T's announcing that we're protesting Melbourne, Org on the 5th of December with a vigil for Lisa McPherson. So if you are in Australia or can get to Melbourne, Australia, December 5th, y'all, that's going to be Friday, December 5th. Or actually, that's a Thursday. I believe it's Thursday. Are you guys doing Thursday before too? I love that even more. Let's look. Yeah, because December 1st, that is Thursday. Thursday, December 5th. Be there or be square in Melbourne. Wonderful. The gays are glowing tonight. That is correct. Who, what, where now? Correct. Thank you. Eastern Canada and still grass here. It's a miracle. Wow, Steffi.
Wow.
That's wild. The weather's coming for you. The eyebrows and mustache would have to go, Dan. If you
for drag.
Yeah.
Believe me, been there, done that, tried it. Ooh, not a fan.
That's a lot of maintenance. I mean, listen, my hat's off to drag queens. I don't put on makeup ever. And these ladies are like glam to the max. Not just with that, but with the maintenance and the shaving and the...
It's hard. Last year for Halloween, I went as a Karen. And I did it. I even shaved my legs.
Oh, honey, that's awful when that's growing back.
Full commitment. Yeah, full commitment. It was crazy.
That is full commitment just for one night. Holy cannolis.
Yeah.
Monica
when
Isaac.
I do something, I go all in.
Right? Yeah, you have to go 100. Monica Isaacson says it's 24 degrees in Norway and it's snow. Yeah, I believe that. Lola, the good dog, says Dan is the best, and we're not just a twerking.
I love you. Hi, Rosaline.
Tiny Chihuahua Security will make sure that no one messes with Dan while protesting. Thank you very much for that.
There she is.
The LGBTQ center is near Chick-fil-A. Perfect. Yeah. Every time we pass Chick-fil-A, my wife and I are like, should we just go make out in the drive-through line? just to. We should. Every time we pass it on Sunday and they're closed, we just give it the bird and just like keep going. Like, and what makes me sad about that is that I didn't know, like back in the day before you could like find out everything about everybody. When I lived in LA, we ate Chick-fil-A all the time because their chicken is fucking bomb and their waffle fries are so good. And then I found out the truth. I've heard. Well, they're I mean, I didn't know. It's the same way I didn't know, like, that In-N-Out is totally like super uber Christian. They put John 3:16 on like every cup.
I know, but we don't talk about that because we
don't talk about In-N-Out. We just keep consuming it and get everything animal style. That's all I have to say.
But come visit Nora. We'll go to Chick-fil-A and then we'll go to Hobby
Yes.
Lobby and, do all the rest.
I'll buy Chick-fil-A just to throw it in the trash and be like, there's where my gay dollars went. No, I'm going to eat it. Like, I'm not wasting my gay dollars. They're precious. We'll go to Hobby Lobby and just touch things.
That's right.
Snotface says, this was a great discussion. You both rock. Let's let's see here. There's a drag queen in Alaska named Ron L. Rubhard. That is...
Oh my God.
That is awesome, but also like, why? honey, we got to talk.
But
that is not...
Also, why not?
But okay, are they a drag queen or is it a drag king? Because that's even like wilder. If there's like a drag king out there that is doing L. Ron Hubbard drag, like I need pictures. PK, I need pictures. I need to know who this queen is. Okay. Last
Pictures
comment.
Or it didn't happen.
Glad you and Liz worked out. I don't know what that means, Jeanette. Are you talking about Liz Ferris and I are friends? Yeah, we're good. We good in the neighborhood. You guys, go to Dan's page, subscribe at Dan Walks LA. Get in on this TED contest. Here's the, you go to his community tab, click on the photo, download TED, and then play with him. Make him pretty.
Play with Ted.
Play with Ted. And then send it to Dan, danwalksla@gmail.com. And
Believe
we're
me, I
going
have
to,
plans.
it's going to be beautiful, guys. It's a whole thing, but like play with Ted. Make him pretty.
Or try.
Yeah. Yes. Refusing Chick-fil-A was my coming out to my grandkids. They loved it and they wouldn't go near it. I love that.
There you go.
I love that. Oh, now what? That's fantastic. Dan, any last words here before we wrap up our fun time here? Because otherwise we're just going to keep talking.
Well, we have to do this again because this was such a blast.
Oh my God!
Sorry
yes.
for the shitty internet and the shitty camera quality.
You look fine.
Next time we'll step it up a notch, and I'll match you on the microphone. So, but thank you so very much, and just for your support, and just you're always in my chat, and I just genuinely appreciate that, as well as everybody else for showing up to support me, give me their ideas and advice, because I'm always welcoming to that, and we need it. And again, all hands on deck, because things are just escalating. So get out here, join me and join others and have fun.
And I almost ignored the super chats. I have to throw them up here because people threw me some money here. So Anne, thank you. And she says, Dan's dimples will bring this cult to an end, and I'm here for it. Share, thank you for the super chat. Just showing some love and support. Appreciate you both. Peace, love, and light. And Castillas with another super chat for Dan. Can you add Spanish subtitles on your videos you play? Yeah, that we got to that one.
We talked about that.
Yep. Matrix Tech Solutions in the house gave us a super sticker here with a pair character stretching his arm forward and raising his thumb up. It's funny, in my chat, I don't get to see the sticker, so it just gives me this weird description of what they're doing. It cracks me up every time, though. And, of course, AZ Crimson says, also another super sticker, pair character lifting some weights, saying keep it up. And then I had, Hot Mess Success says, need several behind the scenes who can do face recognition, run socials, etc. on new people for each streamer. Yeah, if there's anybody out there who has that... technology or something, and you can do that, please do that. And then, let the streamers know either in chat or, via email or something, whatever your preferred method of contact is, Dan, so that they know who they're surrounded with. Of course, Degraded Daughter, Alicia in the house says, thank you, Dan, for protesting. And hi, she says, he's contagious. Don't touch him.
Y'all are full of them today.
I know. And Super Cool says it's Ops Inc. Security is the name of the company that Ted and them work for. So thank you for that information, Super Cool. We can contact them and find out why, or maybe they are Scientologists that own that security. We're going to check it out. I'll do a little deep dive into that, and we'll find out. Until next time, guys, go subscribe to Dan. Dan will be out there later today. I love you, and I'll see you on the flippity dippity. Thank you so much to the mods, to the members, and everybody who tuned in today. Click that link. Find me everywhere. We'll chat. It's fun. Or send me some money. I need it.